Hello, and welcome to another episode of Study of X, the X-Men podcast where we cover the Krakoa era of X-Men comics. We're not doing that this week, though. We are talking about X-Men 97. I am your host, Tim, and as always, I am joined by Sergio.
Hi, hello. If you're a new listener, I hope that you check the rest of our episodes. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. I also think they're pretty good. And also joining us is Chris.
But also, if you're just here for X-Men 97, hey, you know what? Good choice. It's a fantastic show, as we are all going to talk about.
Yeah. And we have a special guest this week. We have Soul here.
Hello.
Hi, it's Sol from Stray Reads, the monthly book club podcast.
It's a crossover episode.
That everybody should also go check out. It's a lot of fun.
It is. We have a lot of fun recording it.
Yeah, you guys are you're covering a Stephen King collection soon, right?
We are. That's next month's book. I think if you're hearing this, I guess we just released an episode on Mapping the Interior, a short horror novella by Stephen Graham Jones.
Yeah, that's good stuff. You should check it out. But yeah, X-Men 97. We were not originally planning on covering this. Me and Sergio both started kind of watching it separately. I don't think expecting it to like it as much as we did, and both of us just kind of had the same realization that we were really enjoying it, and the conversation quickly progressed into we should probably cover this on the podcast.
It just felt right to talk about it.
Yeah,
it's a joyous show. Like I wanted to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Like I got through episode 2 and it's like, oh, there's definitely something here.
Yeah, it moves.
Yeah. I don't know. My experience with this property was I had watched X-Men 92 before and wasn't super excited about going into it, but yeah, I don't know. It's been great. There's a lot of interesting stuff here, and we will get into that.
Yeah. Do we want to go around the table and kind of say what our experience with the original show was, if any?
Yeah.
Sure.
For me, it probably was the only piece of X-Men I knew before starting this podcast. I had watched some of the movies, but they weren't particularly memorable to me. The show, though, I remembered the cool song, and young me probably liked the show if you had asked, but they couldn't have told you what it actually was about or any of the overarching plots or anything. I just caught episodes from time to time and thought it was good enough. But yeah, going back now, after watching these episodes and kind of reading up on the general arcs that they did and the characters that showed up, I'm kind of actually impressed at how much they reached into the toy box to play with different concepts, even back then. Even if the execution wasn't the best, I like that the new show is kind of also doing that, maybe with a bigger sense of urgency. But yeah, I generally have a lot of respect for that show. And I also really like the Japanese openings. They are kind of well known for going super hard. You might get to listen to one at the end of this podcast.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm very excited for that if that's what we end up doing.
Yeah. Let me pass the baton to Sol.
Oh, okay. Get called on early. For me, probably the original show is probably the first time I really ever got into a fandom. It predates my obsession with Buffy quite a bit. But Power Rangers even. It was one of those shows that I kind of just randomly discovered. I think some kids on the playground were talking about it, and I wanted to be like a cool kid, and so I pretended to know about it, and then ran home to watch all the episodes. It's something that I've loved since then. I made probably the odd choice of deciding that Jubilee and Gambit are my two favorites. But Something that stuck with me, and I was kind of hesitant to watch the new show, just because I had so much nostalgia for it, and I'm so excited to have finally watched it and actually really, really enjoyed it and gotten so much out of it.
Do you keep up with the comics as well?
Um, so when I started the original show, I did try to keep up with the comics. Just for us, like financially, I wasn't able to like buy them regularly, but like, I would get them sort of irregularly, and sort of try to keep up with the storylines. But I think after a while kind of fell out of reading the comics, but it's definitely something I've wanted to get back into, and definitely with the new show and everything, it's on my radar for sure, getting back into X-Men again.
Hmm. I ask because you saying Rogue and Gambit are your favorites, and me having a lot of Rogue and Gambit in my head from the comics, it just makes me have thoughts. I'll leave it at that. Snicks, what about you? Chris, sorry.
No, that's okay. So I'm kind of like you, Sergio. I remember bits of the show, watching it when I was growing up. It would just be on after school or, just a random day of the week. And I would catch episodes here and there. I very specifically remember an episode with Storm where she was fighting a sentinel in a canyon somewhere. I'm sure they reused that too a couple of times. But I have very distinct memories of that one and the sentinels, as well as Nightcrawler. But that was about it. I didn't keep up with the storyline. I didn't keep up with episodes. If things were two-parters, I'm sure I saw part 1, but I never saw part 2. And right. I remember liking it, but it was never something I really got into as a kid, like Power Rangers or Batman, the animated series. It was just there. It was really cool. It was fun to watch. But that was about it. So going into this, when they announced X-Men 97... it was one of those, oh, okay, that's cool. I know people really love the originals, and I'm sure they're going to be happy with it. But I wasn't going out of my way to watch the show until you and Tim started to talk about it, and were like, hey, we really need to talk about this show. And then I kept getting little bits here and there from different friend groups of like, hey, you should really, really watch this show. It's really, really good. So I'm glad we decided to do this, because I agree with what everybody said. It's really, really good.
Yeah. At the risk of dating myself a bit here, I was not X-Men 92 was not a part of my childhood, like, at all. I grew up with X-Men Evolution, which I love dearly. I think that show was great. But yeah, for X-Men, I didn't end up watching it until I was well older, and Disney Plus let me just, watch the whole show.
I probably also should clarify myself. I didn't watch the show when it first aired. In fact, I was not born when the show first aired. So I definitely watched reruns later on.
I was going to ask about Evolution, because I did not watch any of it. But I do remember like catching the ads or just seeing it while browsing the channels.
Yeah, it's very interesting, because to me that was X-Men for a very long time, was Evolution, because it had been, the only thing I'd seen. I hadn't really watched the movies. And it's a very different take on X-Men than most other X-Men properties. It's most of the characters are high school aged, except for Wolverine and Storm, who are in kind of a teacher role. Like, when I had figured out that there was a common love triangle between Jean Scott and Wolverine, I was like, whoa, that's weird.
that would make sense. That would be really odd, coming from that relationship for the three of them.
Yeah. But yeah, do we want to get into the episodes?
Oh, do we want to actually talk a little bit about production? Just as a little background, the show's creator is Bill DeMaio, who famously got fired just before the series started airing.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird debacle there.
Yeah, I haven't read too much about that, honestly, except for knowing that it happened. I've heard different rumblings of terms of just like he apparently was kind of creating like I don't know. I don't feel like I'm not super comfortable speaking on it just because I haven't really like read up on the details personally.
Same with what I looked into. Same thing. I heard some rumblings of something, but there's never been anything official from Mr. DeMaio and Disney about why he was fired. It's just they both agreed to part ways.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they agreed to part ways, but
as
Disney,
agreeable as I guess Disney could be if they tell you to leave.
yeah.
Yep.
Which I will have to admit is a massive shame so far, because we're going to be talking about episodes 1 through 5. He's written all of them, and I'm assuming he's written the rest of the season also. And the show did get picked up for a season 2, but without him on the writing lead, I'm a little bit more hesitant because the show's best parts have been its writing for me.
I believe he did finish all the scripts for season.
Ooh, did he?
Yeah, I believe with season 2, he's mostly that was mostly just like in the can when he got
okay.
canned.
So it's
Yeah.
sort of season 3. We're kind of
That's more the
Yeah.
iffy one.
yeah.
Okay, well I didn't know about that for season 2. Well, that's good. That means season 2 will very likely still be good. Season 3,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, it makes it
Yeah,
that
and it's
far.
like, yeah, it's shows are more than just one person, obviously,
Mhm.
but yeah, I totally see why you would be skeptical of it beyond that.
Yeah, there definitely were some eyebrows raised when the news broke.
Yeah.
It's been such a interesting news cycle with the show, just seeing him get like fired right before it aired, and then the show goes on to be just this mega hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just a very awkward time.
Yeah, and I think he's kind of come out too and spoken about the show a bit, but it hasn't, again, there's really been nothing about the firing specifically.
No, and I have his interview specifically about episode 5 that I'm going to quote from when we get there. But yeah, no, most of the people behind the show haven't really talked too much about it. I'm not sure if that's going to change once the season ends and they can be like, okay, here's everything. Or if that's just how they're going to go about it.
Yeah. A couple more notes that I had regarding the staff. Worth shouting out that many of the voice cast is back from X-Men 92, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I when Wolverine first talked, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's his voice, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
No, I think that's a lot of fun because, yeah, voice actors can get replaced often, and especially if it's an older voice cast that hasn't done the roles in a long time. So it was nice to see that they brought all of them back, at least in some way. Not all of them return to their same characters, but they do get cameos in episodes.
Yeah, that was one of the things about the production I really liked. The fact that I believe all the voice actors had to like re-audition for their roles, and then with certain characters like Jubilee, they tried to be higher, more diversified, like the voice actors they used going forward, but they like brought back Allison Court like in a different role, like Chris was saying. I think the original voice actor for Jean, she comes back as a different character as well, just because she wasn't able to, like, her voice had changed since she originally played the character, so they thought it was a better fit to recast her. But it was great coming back to the show, like Wolverine sounds the same, Storm sounds the same. I think that was a really good choice.
Yeah, the one thing I do really appreciate about this show is it really does feel like there's a lot of love put into it, like as just in terms of like it's simultaneously kind of building on what the original show is doing while not just being a complete callback to it, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it like I said, it's definitely going into the toy box and not hesitating to play with whatever it grabs from the bottom. I really like it. And it does play with both kind of continuities, because it's pulling from the original show, like it's a direct continuation, like you're intended to kind of watch from the last episode of 92 to the first of 97, and for that to be a smooth transition. And then it's also willing to pull from, the comic books history. Even if I'm not as acquainted with it, it's pretty evident, kind of like the love and care that's been taken to kind of reference all of that stuff.
Yeah, the one thing I kind of took note of the show, just because the pacing is so different from, I feel like, a lot of animated shows like this. It almost feels like it's still paced like the original 92 anime, but it's structured like, or not anime, the original 92 cartoon, but it's structured like, just like a current superhero show with just like this like overarching plot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I think that's where some of my negatives of the show come in, is its pacing. But that's definitely
interesting.
Yeah, I do have some negatives about the show, and its pacing is one of the worst aspects of it, I think.
I love it.
But
yeah, I disagree completely.
That actually comes into a question, because I know the both of you watched it as it aired, so you had weeks in between each episodes. I watched episode 1, waited a couple days, and then I watched 2, 3, 4, 5 in one sitting. So I'm wondering if that really colored it for me, because that block of 4 episodes, I can tell you which ones I really liked and which ones I felt went way too fast and really needed to slow down.
I don't know if binging it would change my opinion of it, because I think it's colored by the fact that I feel like the comics move so slowly. And like seeing threats come up and be resolved cleanly is such a change of pace from what we're used to, that I really felt it was refreshing, and I find the kind of frantic pacing welcome in a way. I do really like the way it moves. I do really like the way it kind of develops and takes the threats and runs with it. And I also like, even if it's not, well, I think it's evident from 4 and 5, we're eventually going to get there, but the way it intertwined 2 different arcs and then alternated between episodes to get there, I think it's also kind of clever for me.
Yeah, I do like that the show has I feel like we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but I do like that the show has, it's very good about just like switching on and off plots. Episode 4, I think in particular, is kind of clever in that the whole thing is kind of structured like part of it is structured almost like a episode of the original TV show, and I feel like that's almost the point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree, especially with that
one. Before we go into the episodes, I also wanted to call out he's on the animation department, Nasir Pasha, who had worked before on a couple of other TV shows, mostly on art, but this is their first work on animation, and they're also known for doing a Dragon Ball Z fan-made kind of mini-film that is just fantastic, and I think the animation on the show really shows his influence there, especially on episode 5, as we will discuss. I think some of the action sequences are incredible, and you can tell there is kind of an experienced, or I would say auteur animator with their hand on it, because it's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's honestly, that was one of the things about the show that like really blew me away, is like the choreography and like just the fight scenes are just absolutely incredible. To a degree I honestly wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I think was the same thing for me. I think what finally tipped me over to finally start watching the show is like I'd seen a clip of like the sequence in episode, I think it's episode 3, and I'm like, oh, this show looks like it is wild. I need to check it out.
Yeah, I have to say there is something about the way the trailers looked that did not endear me to the show at the beginning. And I felt like it looked kind of Flash animation-ish or too clean. But looking at it, like watching it in motion, and actually paying attention, it's really well crafted.
Yeah, I would agree with you. There's this very early trailer that they did. I think it's all from episode 1 where they took it. I think it's the one that ends with Wolverine on Gambit's back, and then he powers up his claws. that one almost looked a little rough with its animation when they put out the trailer, and I was just kind of like, oh, okay, whatever. But they were definitely holding back, keeping the best parts for the show.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway, should we start talking about the actual episodes?
You
Yes.
know, yes, because we have 5 episodes to go through, and there's a lot to talk about. So, to start off, we are going to be using the summaries of each episode taken from Wikipedia on the X-Men 97 page. Those were the best ones that we could find, with adding some stuff here and there.
That's
but-
probably enough.
Yeah, they're very general descriptions, but we're definitely going to be putting in our own thoughts here and there. So,
Yeah.
for episode 1, titled To Me, My X-Men, this one was written by Bo DeMaio and was directed by Jake Castorena. It was released in March 20th of 2024. And just like Tim and Sergio said, this picks up pretty much directly after the end of the original show back in 97.
Also, per the episode kind of release schedule, this is sort of a two-parter alongside episode 2, which is also released on March 20th.
Yeah, like I think me and Sergio probably had the same experience where we watched these two back to back.
Yeah.
Which I do wish I kind of did, because I watched 1 and then waited a little bit. I think 2 is the stronger one to really get somebody hooked on it, but 1 is a really good introduction.
Yeah, I think these feel like they were designed to be watched this way.
Yeah, for sure.
Where 1 kind of just, feels like more stage setting than anything, and then you kind of get the hook at the end, and episode 2 just runs with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay, the show starts off 1 year after Henry Gyrich's assassination attempt on Professor Charles Xavier. Xavier is currently presumed dead, and the X-Men continue his mission of defending mutants and humans alike. Xavier's supposed death has led the X-Men to being legally sanctioned by the UN. So, a lot of bad press from pretty much every corner, and that also does not stop the Friends of Humanity from still going after them. These are an anti-mutant hate group that, in this first episode, have captured a young mutant named Roberto da Costa.
And I cheer. I point at my screen and yell, "Hey, look, that's Sunspot."
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's the boy.
Yeah, when he showed up, I was like, oh, I know him.
Yeah. I love how this show makes me go, "Hey, I know him."
Yeah.
And I gotta say, coming from a Roberto in the comics who is definitely a lot more confident in himself and his abilities, to this earlier one where he is still very, very self-conscious and aware of his mutant powers, I felt really bad for him. I'm like, no, it's okay. You're okay, Roberto. Come here.
Yeah, but not to get too far into it, but the very self-conscious rich kid aspect of just the character I think is very good.
Yes, it's wonderful how they actually are able to portray him in this, because you're able to get a sense of his character pretty quickly. The Friends of Humanity have captured him and taken him into this warehouse where he's like, hey, I'm not one of the bad mutants, I'm one of the good mutants. I'll pay you whatever you want. And of course, this hate group does not want any of that, because there are no good mutants, and they'd rather just kill him to get rid of him.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact wording, but I think he straight up says, "I'm one of the good ones."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does. That line is blurted from him.
Yeah.
It's so good. I think his characterization throughout all of these episodes is fantastic. Like the hesitation to interact with other mutants, and he knows he should probably confront his identity, and he should find out more about what mutants are, but he can't bring himself to do so because of his upbringing, because of his history, because of all of these things that are kind of preventing him from moving forward as accepting himself. I think it's a really fun maybe not the right word, but that's really fun for me to watch situation for him to be in.
Yeah, it's there is a fear in confronting this part of himself, even though there is a part of the character that clearly knows this is who he is.
I think his direct clash with Jubilee especially is fantastic, because you have her who has been raised in this environment and is now very comfortable with who she is, versus Roberto, who still almost does not want to openly say he is a mutant.
I was gonna comment on that. Yeah, I really love their dynamic with him being like the new newbie, and she's sort of aging out of that, and then he has such a different introduction than she had on the show. I think it's a really fun dynamic.
Yeah, and honestly, I think having Jubilee have someone like her own age to kind of bounce off of here is very helpful. Their dynamic, I think, is one of my favorite parts of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were parts of it I liked, but it really kind of grows into its own thing in episode 4 for sure. But yeah, I really like them together. Just whenever they're in scenes together, I'm like, okay, great, more of this. So as the X-Men arrive to free and save Roberto, we do find that the Friends of Humanity are using Sentinel technology grade weaponry against the mutants, which shouldn't happen considering Henry Gyrich is in prison and Bolivar Trask is also supposed to be missing and or dead at this point.
Yep, they've got a disembodied Sentinel globe.
Yes, it's very cool. They have fun Mega Man style, arm cannons that they can use. The one thing I do want to shout out here for the animation team, they made Cyclops really cool. And that's not fair.
Oh yeah, no, they this show puts in some work. Someone respected Cyclops, and I appreciate them for that.
He slides around with his laser eyes so much. It's like he's got skates in his shoes,
it's
and
so
he just
cool.
propels himself with his lasers.
Yeah. In general, I'm very high on this first fight scene. I think this is a great way to set the tone for the show.
Yes, absolutely. And the level of creativity that is going on, because, we've been reading the comics, we've seen X-Men movies and everything. You've never seen Cyclops do this, where he's using his lasers to move himself. He's in the middle of a fist fight with a couple of Friends of Humanity, and he's just dodging and weaving, using his lasers to just move his whole body. It's so much fun.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't, but
it's
it's
a lot
fun.
of fun. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, he's like moving around with his eye lasers like it's Iron Man's like gloves.
Yes.
I think it's exactly a good way to put it.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very cool. It's like I feel like someone on the writing team read that, they aren't actually lasers, they're like concussive blast, and just kind of ran with it.
There's a previous episode of this podcast where we talked about kind of like Chrono Trigger style triple tech attacks where mutants were combining their powers, and that was like a highlight for one of the issues that we covered. This is happening like every other episode here. This is just the norm for them.
It's so cool. The level of interactivity every mutant's power has with the world reminds me a lot of how Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra kind of views the bending powers.
Yes.
It's very well thought out, and somebody really sat down and went, okay, if somebody had this power, what would they do to it with the day-to-day? What would that look like? How would it interact? How would they move? How would they do all of these things?
Yes.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. It's a great fight scene. I love the ending of it too, with them taking off the visor and Cyclops just feigning like he's beaten and being like, no, don't take the visor, and then just kind of laser blasting them in the face.
And blows out the windows of the warehouse.
Yeah. It's good. It's so good.
It
works.
Great introduction.
Yeah.
Also, we see Bishop, who is just on the team now.
Yes, which I found very interesting. We haven't had a lot of Bishop in the Krakoan era, So having him just be like, "Hello, I'm here from the future." I'm like, "Okay, cool. Sure."
Yep.
He's fun. I like Bishop. He's got fun powers. He's another one of the funny time travelers.
Yeah. We flash to a breakfast scene. There's a lot of these. There's a lot of like them interacting in the mansion, and I think that's really cool. I think that also adds a lot of flavor.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
And
And
we
it-
also meet a lot more of the cast here.
Yes.
Yeah, and it also helps like pad out some of that frantic pacing that the show has otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's these are characters where it's very fun to watch them interact with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell that they're very close to one another. You know, they're a family, just hanging
Yeah,
out, either eating breakfast or just playing basketball.
Yeah, I think some of these slower scenes are good at reinforcing that found family dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And also, for some reason, I don't know why this was my first thought when they were in that kitchen. My first thought with it was, wow, this looks like the kitchen from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. They go to a house there, and there's a kitchen that looks like very familiar, like very similar to it.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe it's just 90s kitchen style. I don't know, but that was my first thought.
It
But
wouldn't surprise me if they had like that exact kitchen in their reference sheets.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me. It's a very similar layout. But the team hangs out and discusses what was going on, and they decide they really need to figure out how the Friends of Humanity got this Sentinel technology. And they realize the best person to ask this is Bolivar Trask.
A couple of things before we go on. Can someone describe Gambit's fit here?
No.
Just
Like,
I
can't.
think it's very important.
Is this the one where he's in the tank top?
Yes.
It's the crop top.
Yeah,
Yes.
no.
Cropped up.
That one's
Pink.
fantastic.
Fuchsia crop top.
Yeah, dude's just showing off his abs here. It's great stuff.
It says rock on it.
Yeah.
Think bright 90s colors, and that's what you get.
2 guitars. Flames in the background.
Yeah. We also learn Jean Grey is very pregnant, and also Morph is like on the team. What do we know about Morph?
I sure don't know anything about Morph.
You don't remember no more
like,
from
who
the
is this
original
guy?
series?
No.
Like in all the memes, I was like so happy they brought him on the team. Like I guess spoilers for the original series. He like dies in like the pilot, but like the fact that and I think they bring, yeah, and then it's like a meme. It's been a meme for years. So the fact he actually
He was the only one who could make Wolverine laugh.
Yeah.
Is how he was described by Wolverine.
Mhm.
So yeah, in the original show, he was killed off in episode 1 and then later brought back way later in the show. And it was turned out he wasn't dead and he had been brainwashed by Mr. Sinister. They got him back and undid the brainwashing, but didn't really stick around on the team. And now he's like back full time, which is kind of cool. But this was a original character for the original series.
I was about to ask that exactly.
Yeah, he has powers that are very similar to Mystique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard someone describe them as they are a bit different, but yeah, like they made this character up for that show and they brought him back, which I thought was cool.
I have a feeling I know this answer, but Jubilee was also a creation for the show, right?
No. Jubilee was a comic character, I believe.
Jubilee was part of Generation X,
Ah, okay.
like the comics. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm confusing her with Harley Quinn from Batman because I know she was.
Yeah. Like Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
was.
I think Jubilee had been a character that had been recently introduced in the comics when the show aired, and they just were like, "Oh, let's stick this character in for the younger people."
Yeah, she was like part of like the new like teenage funner like mutants they had just introduced. So they're like, let's just stick her in here, sort of give her like a Kitty Pryde role.
Kitty Pryde is a good way to describe it because yeah, she basically is taking the Kitty Pryde role in a lot of the stories they do.
Yeah, which speaking of her, where is Kitty Pryde during the original series? Is she in the team much, or is she just kind of off in the world?
Nope.
Yeah, she's not in the original show. I think originally they made a pilot. I think it is called like Kitty.
It's like Wolverine and
Yeah.
Shadowcat or something
It's like,
like
yeah,
that.
or Kitty Pryde in the X-Men, and then like that pilot didn't
Yeah.
get picked up, and then they moved on to like the 92 version of the show,
Okay.
and they just completely dropped the character. And I don't think she shows up in anything, even though there's like a bunch of storylines she should be in. They just never mention the character.
Pride of the X-Men
Yes.
is what it was called.
Yes,
but
you're
yeah,
right.
that pilot I think is like floating out there somewhere. But yeah, no, she's just not in that show at all. But again, like a lot of these are adapting Chris Claremont storylines, and Jubilee is basically just taking Kitty Pryde's role for a lot of those. Because again, I think she was just kind of like, she was the recent young character, so they just decided to run with that.
Yeah. Which I'm happy that they went with Jubilee. I like her as a character.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel validated. Thank you.
Good. You should be. She's wonderful.
Yeah.
But to pick up back in the episode, I misspoke there. They need to find Bolivar Trask, so they go and talk to Henry Gyrich in prison. And in order to really get the location of where Bolivar Trask is, Gene decides to probe his mind to try and find out.
Yep. There's a lot of stuff happening in between, like the basketball match, checking in with Roberto and Beast.
Yeah, the one thing I really wanted to point out from the Roberto and Beast scene actually is just, I like that Sunspot also tries to bribe the X-Men to let him go. I just think that's a fun little character take, because he just assumes he's also being kidnapped by them.
Yeah, he just wants to be left alone.
Yeah, just, they're like, nah, man, they'll probably track you down.
Yep, just
but
a good way to sell two things for the character. One, he's very rich. Two, he does not want to be with the mutants.
no, he wants to go back to his very rich life. Yeah. But yeah, I really like this later scene with the just the interrogation of Gyrich here, who is just the worst in every continuity, huh?
He's just bad. He's just a bad guy every time.
But yeah, there is a Cyclops makes it very clear, hey, we're not doing this like the professor. If we need some information here, we're just gonna take it.
Yeah, which is where Jean comes in, and by using Cerebro is able to basically drill into his mind to figure out where Trask is. And Gyrich during this whole time is basically, I do not regret what I did in assassinating to the professor. I don't regret what I did to the mutants. You guys deserved it.
Yep. Oh, we also missed the reintroduction of the Cerebro room. Is that what that simulation room is called?
Oh, the danger room?
Danger room, that's the one. Yes.
Yeah.
They fight a virtual reality Magneto.
Yeah. Just evil Magneto.
The classic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will question their intents when they just put Roberto in there, who's hesitant to have anything to do with mutants, and just they throw him off the deep end to fight a virtual Magneto. But I won't question their methods.
Yeah. To be fair, I don't know if he was in any danger until Wolverine showed up, but
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
There are questions about the physicality of the stuff that happens in that room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think he would have been hurt, but probably not hurt that badly. Maybe hurt more than he ever has been in his life up to this point.
Yeah, that's fair. Jean gets a pretty bad vision of things to come.
Oh yeah, just from kind of looking through Trask's mind, we just see Gyrich's mind. Sentinels are pretty bad. Also, we kind of blazed over the dance scene.
Yep. There's dancing in a club.
Yeah, I love this. There's something just very 90s about this scene. It's just some random warehouse rave, which at the time I was convinced this is just what you did as an adult.
Same.
Or, as an older kid. just go to warehouse raves.
Yeah, and just party with everybody, and there were glow sticks and everything.
Yeah.
But no.
I really like Jubilee's dancing and using her powers to do like the fireworks stuff.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, it's very nice. And there's a fun part of this scene where you think like fighting is about to break out when the Friends of Humanity enter the bar, and then we just see the X-Men later, and they're like, "Oh, let's go. We just got attacked," and they just kind of beat them off screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I kind of like it. It's a good way of showing, hey, these low-level guys who are just part of the club, they're not the important enemy anymore. They're there, but we don't have to worry about them.
Yeah. The other thing I think the scene does really well, we get a lot of this as the show progresses. Morph and Wolverine's relationship, I like a lot here. They ran with that line in the original show about Morph being the only one that can make him laugh. That's just kind of a throwaway line here, but like you see them kind of interact here, and there is a sense of familiarity between them where Morph will kind of just like hit at the core of what Wolverine is feeling in a way that you almost expect is going to piss Wolverine off, but Wolverine just kind of like takes it on the chin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I noticed that too, and I thought it was pretty nice. I also did get the vibe that they were almost flirting with each other, but I don't know if I was just reading too much into it.
There's a lot of subtext there. I feel like.
Yeah.
What?
Especially later on.
Do we know Morph's pronouns?
I believe
they them.
They them, yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I agree. It almost does come across as flirting, but yeah, like there's a part where Morph shows up and just starts like they like change into Jean Grey, and they're like, "Oh, this is what's bothering you, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And like Jean's gonna leave, or Cyclops is gonna get the perfect girl, and then Wolverine just kind of says like, "No, they are leaving the team, and I'm not okay with that." So it's not really something that he's going to be able to argue against, but it's something that he just accepts is going to happen.
Yeah. Which, as much as he is for it and for them to be happy, that's still tough to watch a big part of your life just decide, hey, I need to move on.
Right.
Yeah, reading up on Morph here, it says he identifies as non-binary, but the show does not actually use gender-neutral pronoun for him. It's kind of inconsistent in that regard, but he is confirmed to be identified as non-binary.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that because I would definitely assume, like, especially in '92, they probably were not using they them.
No,
yeah,
I don't.
There is a quote that says explicitly they're not using they them pronouns because these were not common in the '90s.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Morph is definitely the type of character that would have been using they them if the original show was made now.
Yeah.
And then we have a pretty lengthy fight scene.
I do want to cut back a bit to this premonition that Jean has. It's fairly vague. She's in some sort of a wasteland. There's a baby there, which you assume is hers. And then this giant sentinel head that is also skeletal, which will appear again with like a skeletal sentinel head. I don't care in what context. If you make a sentinel head look skeletal in any context, it makes it so much cooler. They're so much more frightening when they have this like skull look to their face.
Yeah, skeletons are cool.
Yes. And when it's a skeleton robot that blows up, even cooler.
Yep.
But yeah, we cut to the X-Men flying in the X-Jet toward the
Sahara Desert.
Yeah, where they figured out where Trask was, and they get ambushed almost immediately by a Sentinel, which just rips up the X-Jet, and everybody has to kind of find the way to the ground. This is another really cool Cyclops moment here. Everybody's kind of getting rescued and like got out of the Morph turns into Archangel and rescues some people from falling. You have like Storm flying, and you assume someone's gonna pick up Cyclops, and then he's just like, "All right, see you on the ground," and just uses his eye lasers to land himself, which is very cool.
And
Yes.
really well animated. The way his laser is able to part the clouds as he comes down, it's not fair. Cyclops is not
Yeah.
supposed to be cool. This is not fair.
They get a little fun little group shot, and then we're off to the battle.
We have several Sentinels and a Master Mold here at this junkyard that Boulevard Trask is held up in. It seems he's continued his Sentinel research, and the X-Men, thankfully, pretty much tear this place apart in a very beautiful and incredible way, with really, really nice highlights of pretty much every character.
Yeah, they're so cool.
Yeah, this is flexing. Like the first battle was a decent introduction, but now like everybody's here, aside from like Jubilee. But yeah, everybody just gets a chance to show off and beat up some robots. It's classic X-Men.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, and again, shout outs to Storm for being
Yes.
the absolute most amazing
MVP.
goddess ever. She's
Show
so
him,
cool.
Show him the forecast.
It was so
That
cool.
line lives rent free in my head now.
Oh,
It's
it's
such
so
a
cool.
great-
When they focused on her and she started to glass the sand beneath
Yes,
her just with
I-
lightning.
I got
Uh-huh.
chills. I was like, wow, they're going
Beautiful.
there.
Beautiful. They are not like holding Storm back. She could just go wild.
Yep. She destroys at least like 30 of them.
In one go.
Yes.
Yeah, she's nuts.
Like that's another scene where she parts the clouds and you can see the actual Sentinel bodies falling from the sky with the sun rays just beautifully falling down. It's
Wonderful.
fantastic.
Perfect. No notes. That's all I gotta say.
Nope.
Perfect.
10 out of 10.
Immaculate.
10 out- yeah.
Unimpeachable.
Also, just the like when her just walking up with like the lightning, like
Uh-huh.
turning the desert into glass around her.
So cool.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything about this sequence is just gorgeous.
So
Yeah.
once Storm clears out everything else, the UN does come back and arrests Boulevard Trask for what he's been doing. And the UN does apologize slightly to the X-Men and, says thank you for helping them catch this guy.
Yeah, we good to go. We have an ally here of her name is Valerie Cooper, I believe.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, and she's kind of like the X-Men's like point of contact here in the UN. And yeah, for all intents, she seems to be on their side here.
Yeah. Maybe
Well,
not entirely bought into the mutant thing, but definitely like not malicious.
well,
Yeah.
I've heard theories, but we'll get there, I
Mm.
guess.
I could definitely, if she was to turn out not to be acting exactly in the best way, I would not be shocked. But from what we gathered here, she seems
Yes.
like she's on Team Mutant.
I put her in the I'm an ally camp where, she'll...
Hesitantly
she-
on Team
Yeah,
Mutant, I
she'll
should
say she's an ally, but if she had to vote for mutant rights, would she?
Yeah.
I hesitate to say yes.
I don't know. I get the feeling that she would vote for mutant rights, but if mutants were being put into like, if some Days of Future Past shit was going down, I don't know if she would be on mutant then.
No,
Oh,
I don't
interesting.
think so.
Okay. I think I'm coming from a different point, but we'll get there later. Don't want to jump ahead.
Okay.
But just a quick note: she is played by the original voice actor that did Jean Grey.
I was wondering that, because when you said it was a different Jean Grey, I was like, oh, I bet she turned out to be the UN lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can definitely see why they move the roles around, but I'm glad she was able to come in this way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get another scene here of Sunspot and Jubilee, where we kind of get more of Sunspot just as a character. I like this one a lot. There is a neat little sequence here of him just turning on his powers and just talking to I can't be an X-Men. I can't even like be myself right now. Like I don't want people to know about this. And then he hands Jubilee his card and walks away, which I think is just
Here's my card.
yeah, he would have a card.
Yeah, of course he would.
Yeah.
This man who has never worked a day in his life definitely has a business card.
Yeah, his job is being rich and single.
So that lovely scene wraps up, and we cut to the team having some more fun basketball practice when they get an alarm set off that somebody has entered the professor's study. They all head inside, and they find their former adversary Magneto holding Professor Xavier's last will and testament, where he reveals that everything that the professor owned, including the school, is now his.
Yeah, and this is also just right as Cyclops is telling the team that he's leaving. And Magneto does this. His tone is very sinister.
Yes.
Like purposefully when he does this as well, even though that doesn't seem to be where he's actually going.
It's the classic cartoon cliffhanger of like, ooh, it's the bad guy, but no, not really.
Yeah. He's reading a book that just says the last will and testament of Charles Xavier because
of course Xavier would make it a book.
Yeah, I believe Xavier would like bound it.
Hardcover too.
Yeah.
It's very Xavier to do that.
Yeah.
He paid for like the extra package to have it embossed and everything.
Yeah, like this is a nice cover. This is a nice looking book.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah,
that is the end of episode 1. I do have one important question for all of you. Magneto's outfit, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, 100% yes. It's
all
great.
of them, every day, always and forever.
Yeah.
All right.
In my heart.
Soul, you gotta save me here.
I don't know.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of this version of Magneto. I
Okay.
get what they're going for, but it's not my Magneto in my head.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody here has sense. It's okay. It's not my favorite. He looks better in his other suits. The no shoulders thing, it doesn't work.
You know, I had originally come into this agreeing with you, but watching this again, I'm like, no, it works. Like he looks good. Like I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you.
It's okay.
Traitor.
I can accept you being wrong.
I think I just like Magneto too much. And the thought of him coming in and leading the X-Men excited me too much. Blinded me to any fashion faults he may commit.
I do think that is incredibly fair. And to be entirely honest, as these episodes go on, every time Magneto wasn't on screen, I was asking, where was Magneto and what was he doing? Because he's an absolute highlight of this show.
Yes.
Yeah. Before we get into episode 2, did you notice the intro changed?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is where I say no.
I think they're all different, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there might be like 1 or 2 where the team didn't change in between there, but yeah, like as the team like loses and adds members, the intro changes. The original one had Professor X in it. We now have Magneto there. And it will continue to change as people leave and come back.
Even if the members aren't changing, they are changing what clips they are using that hint to what the episode is about. They're past clips. They're not necessarily stuff that's going to be featured in the episode, but it tells you kind of what arc this episode is connected to, which I thought was really cool. And then they'll start sort of mimicking the original intro and sort of changing like what characters are doing what.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll talk a little bit more about that later.
Yeah, because I saw the clips, but I didn't notice that they were changing individuals as it was going on. I'm gonna have to pay attention to that as I keep going after episode 5.
Yeah, it's a fun touch whenever a show does this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. But yeah, we open up this next episode with a montage of Magneto just saving some people.
Yes, this is episode 2, Mutant Liberation Begins. Still written by Beau DeMaio, but this one is directed by Chase Conley, and was released on the same day as the first one, so March 20th. And yeah, Magneto's playing the hero thing for now. Well, less murdery hero thing, I should say.
Yeah.
Mhm. He saves a kid from a Ferris wheel like he's Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very Spider-Man move of just, I'm in the area, I'm gonna save this Ferris wheel full of people.
Uh-huh.
I have to presume he did this on the way to the X Mansion where he told them that he's leading the X-Men now.
Yeah. Yeah, this was just like a stop he had to make.
Yeah. But yeah, the rest of the government not happy about the idea that Magneto is out here doing some stuff.
No, known mutant terrorist Magneto. You're gonna hear that line
Yeah.
a lot.
The government isn't happy. The Friends of Humanity are kind of acting. But yeah, Magneto saves the Morlocks from the Friends of Humanity as well.
Another. Hey, I know those guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did you get to point and say, oh, there's Callisto?
Yeah, there's Callisto. There's
Leech.
Leech.
There's
Yeah,
all these other ones. I'm like, ooh, I know who you are.
yeah. But yeah, Magneto's just playing the hero now.
Yep.
He's doing a good job. Very effective. Didn't kill anybody.
Yes, which, despite what Cyclops really, really wants to believe, Magneto is saying that he has changed his ways, and while he doesn't still fully agree with Charles, does see that maybe he should go about this a different way. And now that he has the mansion, and therefore the X-Men, he's gonna try something a little different.
Yeah, it's a surprisingly like mature perspective from him. He's like, I don't know if I agree with this, but Charles wanted me to do this, so I'm going to do it. Yeah, I don't know.
I really like how they do this here, and we've gotten a lot of it in the Krakoan era with the comics too, but it's really effective at showing that Magneto and Xavier both did want the same thing. They just had two very different ways of going about it. Where Xavier was, we need mutants and humans to work together, and Magneto is, no, mutants should be safe, and if that means humans have to die, then so be it.
Yeah, this is I really like the relationship between these two characters when it's written like this. Like just these two dudes who just have this incredible amount of respect for each other, but also are like, but I think you're wrong.
Yeah, but also, you know, as Xavier has done here, also realizes that if there's anyone who loves mutants just as much as I do, it's Magneto.
Yeah.
You know, there is very much a reason why he left all of this to him and nobody else.
Yeah. And again, you get the impression this is something that he really himself isn't sure if he believes this is the correct path, but he just wants to try it just out of respect for Charles. Cyclops is very skeptical.
Yes. He's very much, you know, basically whenever Magneto breathes, Cyclops is like, see, I told you. He's evil and we should get rid of him.
And then Magneto says, I'm not trying to cause drama or discord, as he shows up and declares himself the leader.
Yes, not the best way to do it. Definitely the most dramatic way to do it, but not the best. And then we get something that I found really interesting on the surface, but the more I thought about it and the more I saw it play out, the better I was with it, is we get this scene where Magneto is in Charles's office just kind of trying to figure out what to do, and Rogue comes in. And she not only, you know, tries to, you know, sympathize with him and tell him, hey, maybe go about this differently, but they're definitely openly flirting with each other at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is a past relationship we learn between the two characters.
Yes, I believe that comes later, but
yeah, it's heavily hinted at and then confirmed once we get to for a little bit more down the line.
Yeah, but to shorten it, they do have a history together. They definitely are, you know, attracted to one another. And at first I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. There's a very big age difference between the two. And there still is. But I'm also thinking back to, I was rereading the Onslaught saga in the comics a while back. And there is a younger version of Magneto in that is also in love with Rogue. So this has definitely been a thing before.
Interesting. I was wondering if that was like a TV original thing.
No, this was my moment to point at the screen and go, "Oh, I know that. It's sort of an on and off again thing that started, I think, in the 90s when they were like in the
Interesting.
Savage Land. So it's been around for a while.
They've had that back and forth.
Yes.
Yeah, and there's that's kind of even made more complicated by this is a Rogue who's definitely like kind of sort of dating Gambit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that in the first episode too, where they're very clearly like a thing together. Not quite where Jean and Scott are, but they're definitely,
Together.
going out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another kind of caveat to the relationship I think is very interesting is Rogue is kind of approaching this as I was also a former villain and they took me in.
Mm-hmm.
So like they will give you a chance, but you came in and declared you were in charge, which probably rubbed people the wrong way. And you kind of see that in the opening scene too, where they're all kind of discussing Magneto. Of Rogue is a lot more open to it than most of the other members of the team.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very easy to forget that Rogue was a villain to start out.
Yeah.
She and Captain Marvel do have a history together where Rogue was the antagonist. But I also think Rogue has now been a hero more often than not, that it's very easy to forget that. So her giving Magneto the chance here, yeah, that makes sense. Of course she would be the one to do it.
Even despite the past relationship, it's just like, yeah, like Rogue of all people knows that people can change.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which Gambit does not agree with. He's definitely on Team Cyclops for this one. He does not trust Magneto.
Yeah, but yeah, interesting character drama. This scene actually is kind of where I was sold on the Magneto outfit. Like, I don't know, it's just working here. Something about the shadows, like
I do like how the highlights on it are a brighter purple. I think that's really lovely. Just the shoulders don't work for me, and the big dumb M on his chest, little too much.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks iconic to me.
yeah, I like it a lot. I like the cape. Like,
yeah,
just it's working. I don't know. I like the big gloves.
It's okay.
Half
to be
cape,
wrong.
half shawl.
Yeah.
Just shaking my head.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. So once we have this moment, the UN decide to show up, led by Dr. Valerie Cooper, as she comes to say that Magneto is under arrest for being a horrible mutant terrorist. And the X-Men, immediately kind of go on the defensive because Magneto is one of them-ish. But after a, flex from Magneto where he turns the helicopters against them, he does actually agree to go with them and go to this mock UN trial.
Yeah, there's definitely... This is an interesting scene because it's definitely... There's some hesitancy from the rest of the X-Men here because they don't know if they should, like... Are we going to have to fight here or what's going on? Do we fight here? And Magneto kind of just turns into more of a discussion almost with this, like, helicopter thing where it's just like, you are not the only one that's able to threaten here. But then once he hears, like, what's happening, like, oh, you'll give me a fair trial, I'll be able to prove myself that way. Like, okay, sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's go to trial.
Yeah, that is a good point, because it does open up with the X-Men being like, well, do we fight the good guys? The UN are the good guys. And Magneto's like, are you sure? And that's when you cut to them all, like, hoisting their weapons and pointing it at the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the hesitation here because it kind of displays their principles of like mutants first and kind of like the in-group feeling, and them defending Magneto feels right in this moment.
Yeah.
It also shows how like fragile the relationship between the X-Men and like the UN and these people are. It's not like they are comrades in the same sense that another X-Men would be.
Yes. If this was, somebody else that was not Magneto.
Yeah.
This reminds me of there is a event from the 80s called Secret Wars. And the event premise is basically a god takes a bunch of villains and heroes and sticks them all in a place to fight. And all the villains kind of go off with each other, and all the heroes kind of band together. But the heroes in this case are the X-Men, the Avengers, and I think some of the Fantastic Four, and I think Spider-Man's there as well. And all the heroes immediately get skeptical when all the villains leave, and Magneto doesn't leave with them. And they're like, hey, like, you're not one of us. And the X-Men end up kind of splitting off to form their own group, because they're like, no, Magneto's one of us. Like, if he doesn't want to, like, be on the villain side, he doesn't need to be. And it just reminds me a lot of this, where it's just like, they aren't sure if, like, there's something about, like, them coming after a mutant here that makes them very hesitant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like them disagreeing on the finer details, but overall they kind of share a lot of principles.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And oh boy, are we going to get into finer details. Because we're going to be cutting ahead a bit. Wolverine and Jean do get left behind here as the rest of the team goes to the UN court here to watch the trial and to protect Magneto. Jean and Wolverine not too happy about it, especially because nobody told them. That was very mean. I understand Jean is pregnant, but, you know, maybe let her know that you're gonna go do this instead of having to find out from watching TV.
And we also get one of the villains of this arc, or this episode. They got the Executioner here.
I can't believe they brought him out. We saw him in the comic, and I was like, this guy is so a stereotypical, like, hey, look, it's not the KKK guy. And they just bring him in here. It works, especially for what they're going for here. But I was really not expecting to see Executioner of all people.
Uh-huh.
Also, just this first scene here, I'm going to post an image of a comic of...
yes, they were definitely doing that.
Yeah.
I don't like it there either.
Yeah.
No.
I think...
the M is... I don't... It still doesn't work.
It's so silly.
It does not work.
But, so... Magneto being kind of chained up on stand here is very reminiscent of a comic cover where they just did this exact storyline pretty much. Well, not quite. There's definitely some changes here, but yeah, this is very clearly drawing inspiration from that. But yeah, it's trial time.
Yep, it is UN trial time, where Magneto is on trial for his crimes of terrorism against humanity. And he has a chance to defend himself and explain why he did the things that he did.
Yeah, and defend himself he does.
Yes, and I think this is where I not immediately turned around on him. I was already kind of like, all right, Magneto's pretty fun in this show so far. But his whole speech that he gives here about why he did what he did and how he's doing it to save mutants from persecution and annihilation because of his upbringing, I'm like, okay, I think they get it. I think they get Magneto as a character. And I really, really like what they're doing with him here.
I don't know if this is like a hot take, but in the original series, I found him like a very flat, like one-tone villain. So I was so happy that they actually added layers and like gave him something to work with, especially with this voice actor willing to go there with some of these lines.
Yeah, the you kind of can see that a little bit from the intro, where the closing scene of the intro is like the classic scene of Magneto and some evil mutants and Xavier and the X-Men just running at each other. But yeah, X-Men 92 Magneto was villain Magneto. And they didn't really kind of get into some slight shades of gray until like the very end.
Mm-hmm. And here comes X-Men 97 Magneto, where he's like, gray, that's entirely what I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Magneto I know from what we've been reading. Like, layers, very principled, very willing to argue, like, knows he's right.
Yeah, like he's very confident on who he is and why he's done the things he did, and yeah, he's making a solid argument here. It's not really like in defense of anything he's done, but it is like, this is why I have done what I'm doing. I'm trying to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like chaffing against the edges of how the X-Men are not really a good racism metaphor. But he works with what he's got, and it works.
Yeah. But turns out people are storming the building.
Yes, it's a bunch of the Friends of Humanity, and I believe just other nameless protesters. I don't know about the rest of you, but watching this happen, as well as something that's going to happen later on, felt very much like it was pulling from January 6th. And
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
That's
no, yeah.
It was 100%
This is-
intentional. They even said that.
Yeah, like it's straight up just like a complete callback to it. There's a scene where they come in, they say like, oh, they're coming after Magneto, and they're coming after the judges who have been kind of hard on Magneto, and they're like, what did we do? And they're like, well, you're here.
yeah, you gave
Like,
the monster a trial, therefore you are a monster.
It's the same thing with January 6th, where you had like, you kind of had like both parties like in the crossfire of the people kind of storming the Capitol there.
Yep.
So yeah, it's very reminiscent of that. And meanwhile, Jean's getting birth.
Yes, worst time to go into labor, that's for sure, because, oh boy, Wolverine does not know what to do.
Oh, there is a very, very funny scene where Jean Grey walks in and says, like, I need help, and Wolverine, like, pops his claws looking for someone to fight, and he's like, where are they? Like,
where is Apocalypse? And she's
Yeah,
like, no, the baby's coming. And that look on his
Yeah.
face, he's like a scared puppy. He's like, what do you mean? I can't fight
yeah,
that.
she just, like, she psychically throws his, like, Jeep keys and jacket at him. It's
Pure comedy.
It's
Yeah,
really fun.
Yes.
I love this scene.
Yes.
So while this is happening and the UN court is being stormed, the X-Men do their best to hold off these people without hurting them before the Executioner comes in and pretty much makes quick work of everybody, taking them out as quickly as he can, really, before making his way into the actual courtroom.
Yeah,
Yep.
we get some interesting stuff here where the mutants are kind of forced to use powers like less fighting and more like defensively until Executioner shows up. But yeah, Cyclops gets kind of called away mid-fight scene to go be with Jean.
Yeah, because although this is important, being with his wife during the birth of their son also very important.
Yep.
Yeah.
He has to get bailed out by Morph, because Executioner is kind of botting him.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Executioner surprisingly effective here.
Yeah, really good. Absolutely did his homework here.
Yeah.
So while this is going down and the court is kind of on lockdown, Storm takes the commanding position, as she always should, and basically tells the judges, let Magneto go, we're gonna save your life, don't question it. And you know what? They do it.
Yep.
Also, there's something about Morph's transformations in this little scene where I really like it. He rushes out as Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah.
And I think this is a very clever use of a shape-shifting power, because I'm just like, wait, what? Why? And then as they start transforming more, it becomes like clear, like this is Morph. But yeah, they turn into Colossus, they turn into Psylocke. It's very fun.
More of those, I know that character moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a couple of these, protesters and Friends of Humanity do make their way into the court, where Magneto is able to take pretty much all of the metal in the room and make these giant metal, they're basically just metal crosses, and just strike them down into the ground at various points before Storm is able to electrify them and create these massive electric cages, basically stopping anybody from getting any closer.
Not to get too ahead of it here, but Rogue and Cyclops also, before this, go back to go to the hospital where we have a doctor there who's refusing to deliver the baby.
I hate this man. I hate
Yeah,
this man so
um,
much.
This is a very funny interaction. But yeah, this guy sucks. But yeah, he's like, I don't like it. You're a mutant. Like, you could do some crazy stuff in there. Like, I'm not really into that. Like, I'm not gonna deliver the baby. Go find somewhere else. But Jean is currently about to give birth. So the way around this is, Cyclops is just like, we don't have time for this. Let Rogue just take his skill set.
Yep.
And yep, they do that.
Yep. And she immediately is like, all right, nurses, go do this, this, this.
Yeah.
So I've held off a little bit on the bits here and there because I feel like I do it a lot when we talk about comics. But this is probably one of the best clear cut. You could just transfer this over to an LGBT character or individual, and it shows the same thing. You have had doctors tell people, oh, I don't do lesbian births. I don't help people like this, and they will just deny you service. This was kind of more as a comedic way of doing it, but, they're still in the middle of all of this, hitting very specific beats that they do throughout episode 1 and in this one and going forward.
Yeah, I don't even know if this is like specifically comedic. I think it's personally funny with just how quickly it's resolved, but it's very much like, no, this dude is like being an asshole here. Like, this isn't cool.
Yeah.
For me, what I really liked about it is like you do have like the comedic elements of like them racing to the hospital, of all of that, and that was like hilarious for me. And then it's sort of like undercut with like this ugliness of just you're being like shown the reality of this world. Like, they're not accepted. Like, even something that it really worked for me as an effective moment just because it was like undercut the previous feelings that you're having. Like, you're enjoying it, and then you just sort of realize like this world doesn't accept them.
Yeah, like just mid giving birth and still like facing discrimination.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is like
not even
it's
basic
yeah.
rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Jean is able to give birth to a healthy baby boy that she and Cyclops name Nathan. And if you've been listening along with us, Nathan Summers should be a pretty familiar name to you. So it's pretty obvious who this is.
I mean, it could be a few people, but
Yeah, it's true. It could be a few people.
A few
There
people.
are multiple Summers out there.
That's
multiple
X-Man
Nathans
right there.
X-Man. We don't talk about X-Man.
Why not?
X-Man is very silly. I'd rather have Cable than X-Man.
But he's so 90s though.
He is so 90s. It's just there's a point where the critical mass of 90s can hit, and X-Man definitely hits it.
No, I agree. That's why I enjoy the character. It's just
It's lovely.
It's X-Man. But yeah, back at the trial, Executioner shoots Storm with some kind of crazy gun, aiming for Magneto, but she gets in the way of it.
Yeah, she's able to notice it just at the last second and take the shot for him. In honestly a very beautifully animated sequence that is, it looks like it hurts. The second it hits her, you're like, oh, that's gonna be bad.
And Magneto like almost immediately subdues him, throws him onto like the emblem on the back, and like just puts him upside down, takes the gun away, just absolutely disarms him. And then Magneto like looks over to Storm just to see if she's okay, and it becomes very obvious what has just happened here. And this gun has turned off Storm's power. Like, she cannot use her power anymore. And like clearly suffering and in distress, and Magneto's like, so this is what you want, huh?
Yeah. Her line, it's something like, I can't feel the wind anymore, is said with such heartbreak.
like,
And
the
it's
grief,
like,
yeah.
it's like, oh, you know exactly what she's going through.
Yeah, and it's we glossed over it a little bit, but you have like this conversation earlier in this episode between Storm and Jean Grey, where they kind of talk about like Jean's scared of having the baby because she's going to bring the baby into a world where mutants aren't really accepted like that. And Storm has this line about like, yeah, I've often wondered what it would be like to be human, but like I like who I am. Like I'm happy I have this. And just seeing that like get ripped away like this is like heartbreaking. Like it's not a fun time. Magneto is understandably very angry at this because there is kind of like an underlying like thing that isn't really said here, where even if people are kind of accepting of mutants, you kind of get the idea that they probably wouldn't be too opposed to like a cure.
Yeah. Whereas Magneto is coming from it that being a mutant is a wonderful, and very prideful thing. You should be proud of who you are and not have to hide that or be shameful. So even though he is talking, with these judges to say, yes, I'm defending my people, it's not just from those that actively hate us, but from those that also are willing to stand aside and be like, well, if they can get rid of them, sure.
Yeah, and like this is someone who was defending you.
Yeah.
And like now, and she's just had her identity ripped away from her.
Yeah, and she's clearly very much suffering.
Yeah. But yeah, so Magneto, being the most dramatic man in the world, lifts up the judges as well as the executioner into like just rips the platform just straight out of the ground and takes him up into like the stratosphere.
It's so cool.
This is so sick.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Again, when Magneto is not on screen, you should be asking where he is and what he's doing, because he's probably doing something cool like this.
Yeah.
So he has this wonderful speech as the executioner is terrified, and as are the judges, as they're being brought really high up. And he basically says, yes, I did all of those awful things. It was to help my people, but I'm trying something new because I loved Charles. And he thinks that maybe the way forward is to heal these communities and the wounds that both have suffered through all of this. And he makes it very clear that if he wanted to, he could just kill every single one of them and do all of this. And this is him trying to prove a point that he is trying something different.
Yeah, like, I think having Executioner there is very smart as well, because it's just like, yes, I should and could murder this guy and would be completely justified, and I'm not going to do that. But I love, like, there's just like the very first shot of this where you just see Magneto with like a single kind of tear running down his face, and then it just immediately cuts to the judges who are just terrified and shivering because they're up in the stratosphere. It's very good. Like the tone for this is like, he could just drop everybody here, but he's not going to do that. He's trying to be better.
Yeah.
It's
really good.
It's another one of those moments that are perfect, and I have no notes. It's just so good, and we can talk about it and everything, but watching it is something else.
I just generally live for Magneto speeches.
They, I really appreciate that the show just let him be dramatic.
Same.
Yeah. It's the right vibe.
Yeah.
I'm kind of with Sergio. I'm learning that I live for these, and oh my gosh, when they happen, the best.
He closes the speech with "Do not make me let you down," and I'm like, it
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Wonderful. That is what you should say in that moment.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we actually cut ahead, and this is where Nathan is born. And then we actually cut back to a UN press conference where they have announced that they are letting Magneto go, essentially. They are pardoning him, and there are now discussions happening for the mutant nation of Genosha to officially join the UN and receive aid.
Yeah, this went very well for the mutants that aren't named Storm.
Yes, that is true. For Storm, not the best, because we do learn, as Beast will tell her, that the blast from this rifle likely depowered her permanently.
Yeah.
And, like Tim had brought up, she just had a discussion earlier this episode about what it is to be a mutant and why she's so happy she was born a mutant. And now it's gone.
Yep. And as we all know, there is no takesy-backsies when it comes to superheroes.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely
This
not.
is permanent. Storm is never, ever coming back. We are never going to see her again, actually, because she just leaves a note and then hops on a bus and leaves.
Yep.
Yeah, she's out. And then we kind of get a montage of like what the rest of the mutants are doing, which I really like. I want to again give a shout out to Morph and Wolverine. Wolverine's just moping on a tree, and Morph just shows up, throws a bag of chips at him, and turns into Sabretooth, and Wolverine just jumps down to play. They are just kind of flirting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a very specific kind of flirting that they're doing that I don't quite
Yeah.
have a name for, but 100%.
I did not expect to come away from the show with this ship, but here we are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And after we get this really nice montage, the team comes back together as Jean
Mostly nice, not nice for Gambit.
not nice for Gambit, as he's got some suspicions about Rogue.
Yeah, he sees Rogue and Rogue going into Magneto's room. Storm's off.
Yep, and while Jean is reading everybody the letter that Storm wrote for her, the team is interrupted as somebody knocks at the door and Morph jokes that, hey, Storm came back, everything will be fine now. They open the door and suddenly a very tired and disheveled Jean falls into his arms and says that she needs the help of the X-Men.
Yeah, and this is while Jean is standing there next to Scott.
In the room.
Yeah, with their baby and with Scott holding Nathan in his arms.
We have two Jeans.
Yeah.
I've heard about this.
Yeah.
I was shocked it was episode 3. I'm like, wow, that's already here, I guess.
We're moving at lightning speed.
Yeah, we going for it. Sergio, after reading the comics, did you recognize who this was?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, kind of what they were doing here with the Goblin Queen.
Yeah, I did not know. I don't know if the Goblin Queen has been mentioned in the comics. But I do know about Madeline Pryor.
She was in Hellions.
Yeah, it's been a while
Do
since.
they call her the Goblin Queen in that issue?
Yes. I mean, she's been called the Goblin.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that.
I want to say she was, but if she wasn't, I'm pretty sure we would have mentioned it.
It must not have stuck in my mind if they did, because it's a really silly name.
Yes.
It is it's very silly. It was silly in the comics. It's almost sillier in this context.
It is, as we're going to talk about.
It's just like, I am now the Goblin Queen.
Yes, it loses even more context here somehow. Which is really funny.
I've known about Madeline Pryor, and I also knew about, the mix-up with Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had completely missed all of the Goblin Queen lore.
Yeah. This is done with a little bit of a different context too, because Havoc is not around.
Yes, and I would argue I actually like the way they did this a lot more.
I mean, it's far nicer to Scott, so yeah.
Kind of. This definitely this gets awkward really quick.
Yes. And this is where the Scott is an asshole saga really starts for me. It kind of started in episode 2 where he's like, I'm just not going to let Magneto go. And then once we hit episode 3, boy, this guy over here does the wrong choice at every turn.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, it could have been worse. He actually made a better decision this go around than he does originally. So.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, his
original is much worse, but it's still pretty bad.
It's still pretty bad.
This isn't great, but it's much better than what happens before.
So just wrapping up episode 2. Did anyone else have any other thoughts on that one?
No, once again, great pacing. I really like how we're just jumping to a new thing entirely. It feels very refreshing. Feels like someone who knows they only have 10 episodes to have as much fun as they possibly can, and they are not taking their time with it.
Yeah, they said we're doing all of the plots.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I do think. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I do think I agree with what you said earlier, Chris. I think the second episode is a lot stronger than the first, and I think together they really make a strong pilot. I think just watching like that first episode, if I had just stopped there, I don't know if I would have the momentum to continue. I think really once we get in full Magneto territory, that's where the show really clicked for me of what it was trying to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The courtroom scene is absolutely where I was like, okay, I'm on board. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
The second episode is really saying, here's what we're doing.
Yeah,
This is what this show is all about.
First episode felt very nostalgia heavy, and this one was but we have something to say actually.
Yeah. Yeah, the first one feels like it's kind of trying to lure you in with just hey,
remember that?
Yeah.
It is very playful.
We're gonna go fight Sentinels. It's Bulver Trask. But yeah, and the second one is now we're in the real shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it gets realer as episodes go on.
Yeah.
Sure does.
And kind of talking about this in this intro, Storm's gone.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That just makes me sad. I really like Storm.
Yeah, I agree. But we're it's clone time.
Oh boy. Yeah, we're right into clone time. This is the episode where watching it all together, this one is the pacing I don't like. Is episode 3.
There's a lot going
Really?
on in this episode, to
Yeah.
be fair.
There is
There is a lot. We moved through this quick.
Yeah.
I could understand the need for maybe you'd want this to be a two-parter just because there's so much there, but I kind of just like them even trying to attempt this whole arc in an episode.
It is really impressive that they actually do pull it off. I'm gonna say I don't like the pacing, but this is one of my highlight episodes still.
Yeah, I think it lands.
Yeah, I think it ultimately works. I do not love the whole mansion stuff because,
I love it.
again, the Goblin Queen stuff. To be fair, she didn't have much time to workshop the name or the concept, so I can kind of forgive her for that. She could have given it a couple of passes just to make sure the vibes were right.
Are you sure that's your name?
Yeah.
I don't blame the evil turn, but the Goblin Queen. You sure about that one?
Okay, the evil.
She only had a short time to figure out where she wanted her hideout to be. She could use the Luigi's Mansion. That's what she got stuck with.
Okay, but in that time, she also came up with that absolutely incredible outfit. So there's some wins in here.
Yeah. This is true.
That's fair. Yeah, maybe her priorities were in the right place.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is true. But, okay. Alrighty, so...
Yeah, my theory here is she made that name on the fly. She made the outfit and then realized as she was talking she didn't make a name for herself, and it was just kind of the first thing that popped up. The Goblin Queen. Yeah.
Just say it with emphasis and it'll work.
Yeah.
But this is episode 3, Fire Made Flesh. This is directed by Emi Yonemura and written by Bo DeMaio and Charlie Feldman. This one comes out on March 27th of 2024. And as we've already just talked about it, is going to cover our fun clone of Jean Grey.
Yeah, so Beast is running some tests on the Jean that just wandered in the door. And as we're sitting there trying to, just talking about the clones, and Morph is commenting on how this is going to get confusing, Beast...
in the worst way possible.
Is this one here we're doing tests on, she's older. It's
But the thing is he says it in like the most joyous way because to him this is an incredible scientific discovery.
yeah, he's just like, this is nuts. Like,
Whoa, this woman who just showed up is actually the real Jean because she's older. What the heck?
yes.
You
So
know, maybe Beast is always bad.
yeah,
You know what? Maybe.
Like, maybe talking in Mark Twain quotes isn't really
It's-
all too much better.
Hey, Beast, read the room, buddy. Just
Sometimes
but-
oblivious scientist, sometimes Fox CIA enforcer,
black site enforcer.
but always bad.
Yes.
Yeah, always bad. But yeah, there's a line. Jean kind of goes on like, your science might be wrong. This could be manipulated. And then she says, "Scott, tell him." And all the X-Men are gathered in this room, and there's just silence.
Scott is the worst man ever.
Just no one says anything.
Not even Scott. The man
Yeah,
that she had a baby with immediately drops her.
Yes,
Just-
Scott is holding the baby as like, I don't know. This is incredible. Like, I would be mad too. Like,
Yeah, there is some tact, a way to handle this of like, oh, we found out you're the clone and maybe not the real Jean and all of that. It's not, we all turn your back on you and just leave you.
and
I
to
thought-
be fair, I don't think that was the intention here, but I do strongly believe that there is a good chance, had they had been able to have talked about this, Scott would have ultimately chosen the woman he just had a baby with, but not quite how things play out.
No. And it's this devolving sequence of our clone Jean where I have a problem with the pacing of it. Because as we're figuring this out, Beast is able to pretty quickly figure out that this clone Jean was made by Mr. Sinister.
Of course. That just makes sense.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
Yeah, dun dun dun. The usual villain when it comes to fun DNA stuff, Mr. Sinister. And as this is happening and they figure this out, Mr. Sinister also contacts this other Jean and says, "Hey, I made you for a reason because you and Scott are incredible mutants." And she very quickly realizes that Mr. Sinister wants Nathan, her son. And she's not about to have that.
No, this whole episode is like pervaded by Mr. Sinister's influence.
Yes, which, as you know, I don't want to say clone Jean. I'm going to start calling her Madeline Pryor, which she's going to say is her name by the end of the episode. Madeline Pryor, we get this scene where Mr. Sinister very clearly begins to take over her mind and kind of change the way she is reacting to things. But I feel like her change from, I am essentially just Jean, for all intents and purposes, she is Jean. She has her memories and she has her same exact DNA. To go from that person all of a sudden into, I'm going to turn everyone's nightmares real in the mansion and make this whole hell realm that everybody has to fight out of, is really fast. Like, it's really quick. It's maybe in the span of like 8 or 9 minutes. I kind of wish they had given it more room to breathe.
Yeah, I don't have as much of a problem with it that I thought I would, just because it's very clear there is some Sinister influence here.
Yeah, I do think
it.
you could have played up the like psychological terror of like the whole process of realizing you're a clone and then having your life flipped upside down and then eventually devolving into this darker version of yourself. But it does very much feel like it's the whole change is triggered by Sinister himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which, it does help lessen the blow and makes it, better to, like, digest and everything. But still not my favorite. Which
Yeah,
know,
it is less fun to have it just be a switch he can
Yeah.
flip.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of wish this is more of a thing where, and like you do get the sense that like some of these are her own feelings, but I wish she had a little bit more agency in the heel turn here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But also, I think on the other hand, I feel like if she did, it would have felt the flop back to being not as evil would feel even more sudden.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
definitely a side effect of the availability of time here.
Yeah.
yeah.
I definitely feel
Um,
like, yeah, they are trying to speed run this arc, but I do think it's just the time they had allotted. But I get what you're saying, Chris, in terms of it just feeling abrupt based on
Yeah.
what we've seen of her and how she's behaved in like the last, 2 episodes.
Because we get this Jean, who is Jean, and then suddenly she's showing Gambit this horrific vision of Rogue and Magneto like melting into each other.
Uh-huh.
And then you have Roberto being chased by this horrific spider creature that has his mother's face. And all of these just other really horrible things. Just completely just boom on a flip of a switch.
I like Roberto
just-
and Jubilee just hanging out.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
me
also
too.
really
They're just
like
sitting
that.
there eating popcorn.
Yes.
It's very good. Jean or Madeline has this like transformation sequence into her new
Oh
costume
my gosh.
with like this like green and like purple fire
Straight
effect
out of
going
Sailor
on.
Moon.
It looks so rad. I'm a big fan. 10 out of 10.
if you're an avid watcher of cartoons or anime especially, there are moments in episodes where you're like, that's where the budget went. That sequence was where the budget went, because
Yes.
oh my goodness, so smooth
Yeah.
and so many like different frames and everything. Beautiful. A wonderful
You're,
sequence.
you're so right to shout this out. I'm just rewatching it at this moment, and that's just a magical girl transformation sequence, straight up.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Literally
It's
Sailor
great
Moon, yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but for evil.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I love it. So we've been reading the comics recently. Is this Mr. Sinister's original voice actor from the show? It sounds like it is, but I'm not sure.
Oh, let me check.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head. But I also did want to comment on that, because coming from the comics where he is very sassy and he's quoting like RuPaul's Drag Race and everything to this voice is really funny.
Yeah, like I cannot read comic Sinister in this voice.
No.
I can't.
No, it's so different.
This does not seem to be the original actor for Mr. Sinister.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of surprising. I this sounds a lot
Oh
like
no!
him.
Wait!
No, it is.
He is. This
No,
is.
it
This
is.
is.
Yeah, okay.
It
Yeah,
is.
okay.
He is. He also is Doctor Doom in Iron Man: Armored Adventures.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good voice for Dr. Doom.
Yeah. Also gonna shout out Morph here. This man knows how to press buttons both literally and figuratively, as he just cycles through the Danger Room schedule in front of Gambit while just showing a bunch of times where Rogue and Magneto are specifically booked.
Yeah, that was a really funny section.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, oh, look, it's Rogue and Magneto. And it's them again. And again.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah, and you just have this little sequence of Morph just being like, "Oh, we got him pretty good to Wolverine," and I don't know. I really like this relationship between these two. I've said that multiple times, but every time I see them interact, I'm just like, hell yeah.
And the thing is, too, the way Morph is, he's kind of grating, especially with his jokes. They do hit buttons very, like, specifically. And for a lot of the characters, it does not work. Like, Gambit's like, yo, that was not okay. But it only works with Wolverine. And then that is clearly why they're friends.
Yeah. But yeah, we get the little House of Horrors here as everybody gets some level of nightmare.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
a fun time. But they're able to break out of it and get out of this fake hell dimension that Madeline Pryor creates. Again, with the skeleton-faced sentinel, which, again, you add that to anything and it's immediately cooler. But this is where I really like the change with Madeline Pryor, because in the comics, she does actually go to Limbo and make deals with demons and gets involved in dark magic. Whereas here, it's just a facade. It's just a thing she uses at one point, and then that's it. This is just all
Yeah,
her.
it's just-
And I really like
it's-
that change.
Yeah, and I don't know. This sequence just looks very nice. The animators are just flexing here.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets their own little specific nightmare. Like Bishop, for instance, has somebody from his future be like, "Why did you leave us?" Sunspot sees his mom, and also gets like a picture of himself like staring back at him. Like it's very good. There's a very creepy Charles Xavier.
Yeah, that was unsettling.
Beast sees like a Spirited Away face in like the elevator. Like I don't know. It's very good.
I think Beast King kind of came out on top of this one, where he just sees a weird
Yeah.
face and he's like, "Oh, that's not okay."
He's like, like,
No one knows
Um,
what Beast Steel is.
and I think having Morph be the one of the people who is like most affected by this makes a lot of sense too. Morph just like immediately comes in here and is just like, oh, this is Sinister, with just like the history there of him being like brainwashed for as long as he was by Sinister. Like that tracks.
Yeah, I really liked that as well. I actually did not know they had a connection with Sinister, so I'm glad we brought up their history a little bit. But him having, been under the knife by Sinister makes a lot of sense that they're gonna recognize the handiwork.
Yeah.
So-
But yeah, this is where we get the Goblin Queen name drop.
Yes, as, she decided she wants to be named the Goblin Queen, which in the comics made more sense considering demons and goblins and other things she now had at her command. Here it's just a name.
Yeah, maybe in that context it would have made more sense. But like, where did you get the Goblin part from?
Yeah, I don't know.
And as the...
But
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so we kind of get like this little like sequence where it almost seems like they're fighting in Limbo here. I almost don't have too much to say about it. It looks excellent.
Yeah, really fun.
Yeah.
Everybody gets their shots. And then our, not normal Jean, but our Jean, is able to come to just a bit, enough to save the team and get them out of this, before she falls back into her somewhat of a coma. It seems that whatever did happen to her, she's forgotten a lot, including the ability to really control and regulate her powers. So she is hearing everybody's thoughts and just does not know how to stop it.
Yeah.
But while this is going on, we do see Mr. Sinister in his absolutely evil green glowing lab, where he now has baby Nathan and has put him in this cylinder of green glowing goo as he plans to experiment on the child and create, the perfect being.
Oh, also, I want to shout out Rogue and Magneto wandering in here after the fact.
Yes, that is great.
Yeah,
They
like-
missed everything.
Yeah, they're just like, what's going on? Like, but yeah, he's doing some weird science with Sinister as the rest of the X-Men go invade a very creepy looking church. Well, some of the X-Men. It looks like it's just Cyclops, Morph, Magneto, and Wolverine.
Yes, and I really like how Sergio put it, which is it's the Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
Which, yes, that is absolutely what it is. It is a decrepit mansion that nobody has been in a long time. It's got beautiful stained glass windows everywhere. And she is just at the top of the staircase, sitting on a throne, waiting for them to show up. And we get a really fun fight sequence.
Yeah. Morph turns into magic. That's cool.
Yay!
That's cool.
I was like, oh, it's magic.
that is a pure fan service as well, just because like that's also pretty relevant to like Limbo and Goblin Queen.
Yeah, especially when Madeline is able to take over Morph's mind for a bit, and Morph as magic gets more of a demon mode going on.
Yeah.
Total Limbo thing. Great.
I like a lot of the interactions here between Magneto and Goblin Queen as well. I feel like that is God, I'm like watching this fight scene again and this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's so cool.
But yeah, like this is rad. This is just one of those like interactions I feel like you kind of wouldn't really get in comics, or well, just in general. Like these two specific characters, so seeing them like have this fight scene here is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, just gorgeous sequence.
Yeah, the like shield he puts up with the bits of metal around him. It's just so cool.
Yeah. And she's just kind of trash talking him the whole time. It's yeah, I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm. A confident villain Jean is a very scary character.
Yeah.
Yes.
But after, she trounces Magneto, the only one left is Cyclops, and she just takes over his mind like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And then
you'll bleed too, darling.
Yep. Just great.
Yeah, so she has just completely wiped the X-Men here. And then we cut to Jean Grey laying in the hospital, or well, the little med bay they have in the X-Mansion. And yeah, she's going through it. She says she's going to help. Wolverine says you can't leave, and she's like, oh, I don't got to do that.
Yes, although I do like the sequence here where Wolverine is able to bring Jean back because she still can't control her powers. And so Wolverine's like, okay, you're hearing all of everybody's thoughts. Focus on me. Just focus on me, read my thoughts, realize how important you are, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I think this is a very nice scene too, because it's like Jean's just kind of reading his thoughts and realizes exactly what she means to him, and it does bring her back. She's immediately in business mode, like ties her hair up and is like, it's psychic time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, but I really like that from Wolverine. It's a lot in this season in particular, but he really truly cares for Jean, and I think it shows the strongest right here. But Jean does immediately go and contact Madeline Pryor, where the two of them have this really interesting psychic memory sequence between the two of them, where they essentially are going back and forth to try and figure out whose memories are whose, because neither of them exactly knows when they were switched.
Yeah, like they, aside from Scott clearly having a baby with Madeline, they aren't quite sure when the switch happened beyond that.
Yeah. And in order to bring Madeline back out of Sinister's control, Jean kind of focuses in a lot on Nathan and that love that she felt for her son, and says, this is something that is specifically yours, and it was your experience. We need to bring you out of this so we can go get your son.
Yeah, it's good. It's like a very grounding moment there. I feel like this could have been done very poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like this, how like the two of them were just kind of able to like relate in this way. And like it's not really like the comics in general have a kind of a bad habit of, and especially like just like how that was handled in Madeline's end, where it's just like, well, I guess she's a villain now. She's going to be a villain for a while. And this one just being like, nah, that, like, I think looking at that plot line and saying, like, that probably wasn't the best way to handle this. This person really didn't do anything wrong here.
Yeah.
Is a good way to look at this, like, interaction.
There was definitely, like, some, like, sensible edits to the storyline. I think there's a lot of, like, shame and misogyny like placed on Madeline's character, especially in the comics. I like the fact that they came out of this as like equals, and really like bonded. Like it doesn't really matter at the end of the day where one of them begins and the other one ends. I think they really found like that common ground.
And
Yeah.
I like that it's Jean Grey that brings Madeline out of this too.
Yes.
Same.
It wasn't
There's
Scott.
generally a lot of compassion in the way they are portrayed.
Yeah. Like again, no notes. This is a great way to improve on this storyline.
Yeah, no, 100% agree on.
Yeah.
So, but the Goblin Queen and Cyclops are able to get into Sinister's lab and pretty much make him flee immediately. So they are able to rescue Nathan, but he is left very gravely ill and also afflicted with horrible circuitry designs all over his body.
It's a aggressive techno-organic virus that Sinister was trying to expose to him to make him invincible, and now it's going to kill him.
Yeah, because they maybe have stopped it a little too early.
Yeah, but it's okay. There might be a cure in Bishop's future, so that's what we're going to do.
Oh yeah, Bishop's here. Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Forgot.
forget that.
I actually did forget.
Really, the only reason he is here is for this moment, it feels like, where they get to say goodbye to him.
Well, like there was like an
Yeah.
earlier scene where he's like mentioning, "Oh, I think I finally figured out a way to go home for a little bit." And
Right.
Yeah.
I'm setting this up.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, it's only
I was just going
Yeah,
to say,
sorry, go on.
I think it was Beast was fixing his time travel
Yes.
wristband. So yeah, that was definitely planted earlier on.
Yeah, and so the solution they come up with is they can't go to the future with them, so Bishop and Nathan are gonna have to go to the future by themselves, and that's just gonna, they don't really have a way to go back either. There's an interesting little tidbit here. Cyclops cannot get over that this feels like abandoning his child, like how he was abandoned, and he can't quite commit to this idea. He doesn't push back against it, but he can't like sign off on it either.
Yeah, and you know, as much as I'm going to rag on Cyclops for being an absolute jerk to Madeline, I don't blame him here. This is a very tough decision for everybody involved, you know, for Cyclops and for Madeline Pryor. We do get a scene, you know, at the end here where Madeline is talking to her son before handing him off to Bishop, and you can't help but feel really bad for her. You know, she really just got the worst end of all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a miserable position to be in.
So, but she hands her son to Bishop, who walks through the time portal that's wonderfully shaped like some triangles, and the two of them vanish off into the future, where really we won't see them again, or at least one of them. We will see one of them pretty soon. But for now, they are gone, and Madeline Pryor decides she is also going to be leaving the mansion, because she needs to figure out who she is, and this is where she takes the name Madeline. And her and Jean have a sweet moment together before they part ways.
Yeah, and our final scene here is Jean Grey going back to the destroyed bedroom with Scott sitting there as well, and they just kind of stare at each other in silence.
Hate Scott.
Well, we get one more
reason,
scene here.
Is there a reason for the Madeline Pryor name? Does that come from anywhere in particular?
She not really in the comics. This is a little bit of a different character. She wasn't really introduced as a Jean clone, and this is just kind of the name she had.
She was someone that looked like Jean, and
Yeah,
there was her.
It was confusing.
It was the other way around. then.
It was a whole
Yeah.
comic thing, so it's just sort of like, you know, who the
Yeah,
character.
that is a wonderful way to put it. It was absolutely a comic thing.
It was a comic thing. I mean, that's the way.
They did way
Easy
better.
answer.
Way
Yes.
better in this one.
yeah. But yeah, the actual final scene here is Storm drinking at a bar, and I think it's implied to be Dallas, or Forge comes in, and yeah,
Yep, and
Yep.
tells her,
Everyone cheers.
"Woo, it's Forge."
I did.
And you know what? Forge tells Storm that he has a way to restore her powers.
yeah.
And that's it. So, you know, I still have the issues with the pacing here. I don't like the flip of the switch for Madeline Pryor, even though I understand why they did it. But that is honestly just a very minor problem with an otherwise absolutely fantastic episode. You know, it's beautiful. The horror visions that she gives everybody are really creepy and unsettling. The fight in the Luigi's Mansion house, amazing. It just everything about it is so good. I love what they did for Madeline. You know, I've
Yeah.
come to like her in the Krakoan era and what they're going to be doing with her. But seeing her here with a much more streamlined origin story just makes me like her that much more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She ends up in a really interesting position
Yeah.
for now.
I did just want to make a quick note about one of the production things I liked. I really enjoyed
Yes.
Jennifer
Should we move
Hale's
on to
performance
episode 4?
balancing both Jean and Madeline. One of the things I noticed when I started watching the show is I felt she was a little off as Jean, and I was trying to figure out why, because I was like pretty sure she can like hit this voice, and then I realized that was actually like a conscious choice to separate like her Jean voice from her Madeline voice. And then
Yeah.
Ooh.
because
Got
like
it?
yeah, if you listen to like her register, like it just changes when she's different, when she's playing the different roles. So I was like, why is she sounding so off in these like first 2 episodes? I'm like, this is weird. And then like it all clicked this 3rd episode, like what she was doing.
Huh. That is a very smart thing to do, honestly. I'm glad she did it. I'm gonna have to go back and listen.
Yeah.
So,
So
want to jump into episode
we,
4?
yeah.
Yeah,
Bishop's
let's
out
go.
of the intro now, and we have a little bit of a shorter one here.
Yes, this is definitely much more of a classic cartoon episode because we have 2 different stories going on here. They take up each half. So episode 4 is both Motendo and Life Death Part 1. This is directed by Chase Conley and written by Bo DeMaio and Charlie Feldman again. This one came out in April 3rd of 2024, and our first story is going to be Motendo, which is going to follow Jubilee as we celebrate her 18th birthday.
Before we move into the actual episode, it's just something I wanted to mention really quick. I really appreciate this coming week to week. I'm not a all episodes at once kind of person. I kind of really like this release schedule. I think it helps the show.
Yeah,
This-
me too. This episode in particular was very nice. It's just kind of like a breather.
It is a
Yeah.
breather, yeah.
I will admit, I think it is the lowest of the season so far that I've watched. I would probably put this couple episodes on the bottom. But like, it's not bad. Motendo in particular, we can probably go over pretty quickly. Basically, Jubilee and Roberto decide to play this Motendo video game console in Jubilee's room, and the pair are then sucked into the video game, as it is a entire design made by Mojo from Mojoverse, in order for him to gain more views and become more popular.
I feel
Yeah,
like this
I don't
episode came
know.
out right after we recorded our episode on like the Mojoverse
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
in X
yeah.
Factor. And I was really glad that I got the context for it right before this, or else I would have been completely lost about who this Mojo guy was.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I bet going into this with nothing is just gonna be a shock.
Yeah.
So, but
But yeah.
it's a very pretty episode. That is something I will absolutely give it, and I think this is where a lot of love for X-Men as a franchise also comes in, because you can tell this was made by people who grew up playing the, NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, all of those games, and decided to be like, hey, what if we made an episode about it?
Yeah.
So,
It does have some cool pixel art in it.
oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
wonderful pixel art. Wonderful pixel Magneto as a villain with some very canned stock laughter.
Uh-huh.
Did we? Is Soul back? By the way, are we all good?
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh.
We're good. We're good. We
Okay,
had some
cool.
technical issues briefly,
Yes.
but we're back.
I was
cool.
It cut me off right when I was about to say I actually do like this episode a lot, and I will defend this episode.
Oh yeah, no, me too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's fun.
Just to set the stage a little bit more, the specific thing is Jubilee is very excited to celebrate her birthday, but Magneto is like, well, what will be more celebratory is preparing you for battle, and she's not down for that at all. Yeah, and then her and Jubilee get sucked into
You mean Roberto?
her and Roberto gets sucked into if you die in
I mean-
the game, you die in real life.
Tim's not wrong. There is more than one Jubilee, but
Yeah,
We'll get there.
I guess there is more than one Jubilee. This is true. Like,
Yep.
Um,
It's pretty much on the surface. What we're describing is what it is. Her and
Yes.
Roberto go through a bunch of video game levels.
some classic X-Men adventures.
Yeah,
And
set
that's-
pieces from like X-Men video games.
Yes.
Yeah, it's supposed to kind of be like that classic like video game like X-Men 92 feel.
Mhm.
Like it's something where Jubilee's kind of struggling with this like as the episode goes on of things are changing. Like I was here when we were just doing some adventure of the week stuff, and now Magneto's here. It's not fun anymore. There's some clone drama going on. Everyone's leaving. Like she's not super okay with this. And there is a part of her that is embracing this video game world.
yeah,
Yeah. As much as
everything staying the same, never changing, no one getting older.
Mhm.
This part where they go to like old Genosha, and you see like, you know, some like mutants like sitting here like doing, you know, just you get Blob like lifting some rubble or whatever. This is, I think, almost ripped like straight from a early X-Men episode.
It probably is. It would not surprise me.
Like I remember this one because you get some wild cameos hanging out here. Like I think they had like North Star
Yes.
in captivity.
Yeah, North Star
Yeah.
was hanging out. There's a lot of
Yeah.
background characters in this one.
Yeah, like I think Mystique was there. Like it's kind of nuts. But they've run into some crazy lady covered in armor, but Mojo's here and they got to go do the video game.
Yep. And this whole talk from Jubilee about enjoying reliving her past, where she knows how everything is going to end, really comes to a head when, as they're going through these missions, there's this armored woman who keeps helping them out and seems to be quote unquote hacking the game. And eventually, she is able to pull Roberto and Jubilee into this kind of side little pocket area of the game itself away from Mojo, where it's revealed that this is actually an older digital copy of Jubilee. It seems Mojo, in the beta version of the game, had Roberto and a Jubilee, or versions of them, run through the game to test it out. And all of them were eventually purged, except for her.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a cool concept. I really like her design.
Yeah, I do too. It's like she looks like a Mad Max character, but also still very Jubilee.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yep.
The fight scene with Mojo here is again just beautiful. I love this so much. There is a part where Jubilee does this like Naruto looking Rasengan move. Is the best way I can describe it.
I'm sorry, it is the Destructo disc by.
Oh, okay.
I was also gonna pull out the Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There is a way she just kind of like flicks her glasses down that I think is very cool. Like, I don't know. I love this scene. But yeah, it's good. There's not too much to say about this one. Jubilee and Roberto kiss at the end. They're cute, so good for them.
Yeah, I'll say I really like the emotional resonance in this episode. I do think, things staying the same metaphor works for me, especially, with the allure of the video game world as an unchanging place. I think it really works. I think having future Jubilee there to like expose on, just doing the same thing every day or continually, it does work. It does resolve her internal tension for this episode. I think it's a well-constructed story.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very well done here. Because there is a struggle here with Jubilee where as she's playing this game, like she's enjoying it. This is like the classic stuff. She gets to fight Magneto. Like,
yeah, and there's also like you were saying right? This is also about transitioning from the old show to this show, an old show where things were very black and white, again, with a very villainous Magneto and a very clear-cut division between the good guys and the bad guys. And I feel like that's partially, if not mostly, where her lack of comfort is coming from, like the lack of clearly delineated lines that had characterized her life up to this point. And that's kind of what she is running away from by staying in the video game. And at the end, she kind of comes to accept her place in a very quickly changing world. I really like how, despite this is in the end a very fun kind of romp adventure, it still says a lot about her interiority and where she is at this moment in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very, very effective 15 minutes.
Yeah,
And
it's very tightly written.
I thought it was really clever that they did that passing the torch moment, because I don't know if you guys caught it, but it's actually Allison Court playing older Jubilee, talking to Holly.
Oh,
So
that's
it's literally like passing the torch and like, okay, we're moving on now with the new voice
Yeah.
actors. And I just thought it was like a clever thing to do, especially in this, like, making effective use of the time that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd read about this. I think
I-
it's pretty cool to give them nuts like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think her role as older Jubilee was one of the ones that was, passed around more in the news, because it was,
Yeah,
it is the best passing of the torch one, like Soul said. It's the best one here. Not to say the others don't fit their roles, they absolutely do. But we do get to see one of them at least come back to their old character.
yeah.
But so there is a second half of this episode, and this episode is interestingly named in that we just straight up get a different title card here when we go into the second part of it. But yeah, we're at a different plot line. We're doing Storm stuff.
This
Yes.
feels very much like when an anime show is adapting chapters from a manga and they kind of have to cut it into two parts because they're clearly different chapters that they're pulling from. This is what I was reminded of with this episode
Yeah.
structure. But
That's so a bit of a shorter thing here. You want to take us through it a little bit, Chris?
Sure. This one, it's a bit simpler. Forge takes Storm to his ranch, where he says he has created a machine that can restore Storm's powers. He does this after pretty openly flirting with her, having dinner with wine and kind of discussing what she's been going through and how Forge is an old friend of Xavier's.
Yeah. This is another relationship I actually do really like. I think they have a lot of chemistry here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after this, Forge does take Storm down to this machine that he has created where he believes he can restore her powers, although it does unfortunately fail, and Storm still cannot feel the call of the wind or anything else. And she's still very much struggling with this.
Yeah, he does this after taking her on a horseback ride.
Yeah.
Smooth.
Yes, through the beautiful country.
Yeah. You don't get to do a horseback ride like this one and don't come away with some chemistry.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very true. So also we kind of get a little a bit of a thing here. Forge, I think, did appear in the original show as a member of X Factor, and we see a couple pictures of it here. But yeah, as we're kind of talking more, Storm comes to the realization Forge was the one who designed like the collars, and he's the one that probably designed the gun that shot her.
Yeah. Forge has a troubled past when it comes to working with the US government and developing arms.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So Forge kind of explains, like, I was lost at the time, but Storm this is kind of a deal breaker for her, and
Understandably.
she kind of like she sees this as Forge is using her as a way for him to redeem himself.
Yeah.
Even though from Forge's end, it does seem like Forge actually does have a lot of feelings for her.
Yeah, I honestly think both can be true. You know?
Yeah.
He can definitely have feelings for her and still want to redeem himself by helping her. But the line that she says as she is storming off is really good. I don't have the exact quote, but it's something where she says, "You're trying to create and turn me into the goddess you think I am, but you can't control the person that I am." Like, it's fantastic. I love Storm to death.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are attacked by something called the Adversary, which looks like a giant bird thing.
Oh, we didn't mention the owl. They spot an owl during their horseback ride. And Forge notes that it's been circling the ranch.
For like a while.
Yeah.
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 And then that's this bird that attacks Storm.
Yeah, so it's a giant bird monster thing. It's called the Adversary, and we cliffhanger there, and we'll probably get back to that in the second half of the show, but we're not really going to be seeing much more of that for the rest of this episode.
Nope.
Yep.
And, I think this is fine as setup. I do kind of wish it kept going. I am going to say this. I have not seen the follow-up to this. I know it's coming, but I specifically have not watched any episodes after episode 5. So I
Me neither.
don't know
Yeah.
where the story actually goes. I was just kind of like, okay, it's there.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing I want to mention about Motendo is a lot of that episode felt like video game developer bait. I feel like they were very specifically
Please
calling
make it
out the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge team, and they were like, hey,
Yes.
you guys made a really good 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up like the classic game. You want to do that with the X-Men? Look, remember all of this fun stuff we had going on? I'm hoping
God.
I'm hoping the bait works because
I would love that.
I would love it.
Yeah.
It'd be so much fun to have a good 2D X-Men beat-em-up game again. It'd be fantastic.
Yes.
There are some pretty good beat 'em up games coming out, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, the River City Girls one.
Yeah, that one's really good. It's kind
I
of
feel
had
like
a resurgence lately.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
gonna
there's
say,
a couple
I've seen
of really
quite a few
skilled like
lately.
dev teams that could handle it. Go ahead, Sol. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that I was agreeing with you. It seems like there's been a few that's been on the radar lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully it works. But before we head on to the penultimate episode that we're going to be talking about, and I don't know about everybody else, but my absolute favorite one, does
Yes.
anyone else have any more thoughts about episode 4?
No. I think that's
Yeah.
it.
Alrighty. So, for episode 5, titled Remember It, I did pull an interview from Bo DeMaio where he does talk about this episode in particular and a bit of his thoughts behind all of it. And it's a very good article. It's from Deadline, and it'll be posted in the show notes. But everything he talks about here, we definitely covered as we were talking just by naturally having the conversation about it. And
Yeah.
he's going to express a lot of things, and I'm going to pull some quotes here. But he starts off by saying, Episode 5 was the centerpiece of my pitch to Marvel in November of 2020. The idea to have the X-Men mirror the journey that any of us who grew up on the original show have experienced since being kids in the 90s. And he goes on to talk about how he wanted to express the trauma that this generation went through and are going through, where the world was black and white, like how Jubilee saw it when she was in the game, and how it very much has changed since then. He specifically pulls up various different things that have happened, mostly US-centric. 9/11, Tulsa, Charlottesville, the Pulse nightclub shooting, COVID-19, and a couple of other events that have happened. And he said he wanted this show in particular to have episodes that would reflect on similar attacks in American history And very specifically, he's going to point at Gambit as his story is going to follow this direction. He says that Pulse Nightclub was definitely a big one that he looked at when it came to writing episode 5. He said, he partied at Pulse. It was his club. He said he had great memories of going to that lounge. And it was, like Genosha, a safe space for me and everyone like me to dance and laugh and be free. So when he was crafting the season, he very specifically kept that in mind, and how everything changed just in a moment, and then how these communities that were affected then came to heal afterwards. So definitely keep that in mind as we're going to be talking about episode 5.
Yeah. It's really easy to see how this was the centerpiece for his pitch. Like everything.
Yeah.
I have not watched past this episode, so I can't really speak to the rest. But this really feels like the piece of resistance to the whole thing. Like everything builds up to this, and it really succeeds at making a statement about what this show is about. And what the creators are concerned about portraying.
Yeah, this episode is bold, and I think it's bold in a very successful way.
And it's just such an animation showcase.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like when things pop off, like with just, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here, but there's just this absolute just like sudden shift to violence in this episode, where the previous half of the episode had been pretty peaceful, and it's just so effective and harrowing.
Yeah, and it works really well. It's not like you're waiting for the shoe to drop and for the violence to begin, because the rest of the episode is so entertaining. I feel like, again, getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but like the whole relationship drama stuff, the visit to Genosha, everything works so well. Everything's so compelling. I'm in awe at how successful this episode is in everything it attempts to do.
Yeah, like it's not a case of you're just like, okay, something's bad gonna happen. Like it does catch you off guard a little bit. Like Cable shows up, and you start getting kind of the impression that something's about to go awry, but then like how suddenly it happens is just, it's shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think that's where watching the show later on does have a bit of its downsides. I didn't know exactly what was going to happen in this episode, but I knew it was something bad, emotional, and really impressive. So going into this episode, I knew something was going to happen, which, kind of had me on edge the whole time. I didn't know what, but, I didn't come into this being like, oh, it'll be like last episode or something.
Yeah,
I would say I'm glad I didn't know this episode's title before I watched it, or else I might have connected the dots.
Yeah. So, do we want to get into it a little bit? I want to talk about Genosha, like, really badly.
Yes, we will definitely hop into that. Soul, did you want to say something?
Oh, I was just saying I somehow managed to stay unspoiled by everything. So, I'm just enjoying my nostalgic show, and I'm like, oh, this is a cool little touch, and then this just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm like, oh, okay.
This is what we're doing.
Exactly. I've always said, I've like, one day the world will know how cool Gambit is. And I'm like, this is how I thought this was going to shake out.
Yeah.
Now you like him, guys. I've been trying to defend him for years. Okay.
But at what price?
I know, right?
as we stand atop his corpse going, now he's cool.
Now he's cool. I was telling you guys. No one believed it. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm right. But I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. But okay, let's hop into the episode. So this one is directed by Emi Yonomura again, still written by Bo DeMaio, and this one came out on April 10th of 2024. We're actually going to open up on kind of a nice little sentiment. It's this fake news channel giving interviews with the X-Men and just kind of seeing how they're doing in their daily life.
I love this. I love whenever shows do this. Like there's like a TV segment or like fake news. I think it's always fun when they play around with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they just kind of talk about the school. They're getting the good publicity.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love Grandpa Beast. I truly love him, and I missed him, and I want him to stay this way forever.
Well, I love like him and the reporter like flirting. I think that's really funny.
Yes, it's very cute.
Beast blushing. Yeah.
I think
Uh,
like in the comics, they're actually like she is a love interest of his. So I think they're making like a hint of that. Or, I don't fully know this character, but that's what someone was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not know off the top of my head.
But yeah, we get to see Genosha
Mm-hmm. Magneto.
as
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, Magneto, Gambit, and Rogue are the ones visiting. Yeah.
Yeah, Tim, do you want to explain what Genosha is?
Genosha is a country that I guess has been turned into a mutant country. Earlier on in the show, it was kind of like a was not a good place to mutants, but we have since turned it around, and now it's basically a mutant country, just a paradise. This is very reminiscent of Krakoa.
Yes.
It is. Yes, absolutely.
Like there's definitely differences. It feels more like a cross between like Wakanda and Krakoa, I would say, in terms of just like how like Wakanda is usually portrayed in like the MCU, but like it's very clearly drawing a lot of inspiration from Krakoa.
Yeah. This
I mean, it's an island.
yeah.
to begin with.
It's an island, but yeah, the plant stuff isn't really there, and like stuff costs money, a lot of money actually.
Yes, money is a problem.
I almost wish they went into that a little bit more because I don't think they say too much about it other than like, hey, yeah, it's like $10 for an apple. But this place looks sick. They got like monorails going on. Glob's here.
Glob's here.
Yo, when Glob
yeah.
showed up, I was like, it's my
Yeah.
boy. He made it. Just
Yeah.
He shows up
oh,
so much. He's of no consequence at all, but
No.
he's got
Yeah.
5 scenes where he's just walking around, and I'm like screaming every time.
I know.
I'm so glad he got in.
my boy.
Yeah.
And
I'm so proud of my boy.
and Pixie is here, and so is the mutant that can make ice cream. He's usually kind of a joke online of like, oh, you know, everybody's afraid of mutants, including the ice cream guy. But he's here.
There's
Everyone
a
is
statue.
here.
There's two
Yeah.
statues of like two big statues of Magneto and Charles Xavier just welcome everybody to the island.
They're cool.
Yeah, I love this. There's like a big old welcoming committee for the X-Men where someone has a Magneto as right sign. Like I love this. Just everything about it's great.
It's just a happy, wonderful place.
Yeah. And Madeline's here because apparently the council wanted an X-Men and Madeline was free. So, good for her. Bit of a glow up.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
fantastic continuation for this version of Madeline. I love her here.
Found something to do real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty fast.
This is
Yes.
That didn't
This is
take
hell-
long.
it's a hell of a thing to do as well. But yeah, she's got a seat on the council. And
Kurt is here
uh,
too.
Nightcrawler, yeah,
Yes.
who's not really around too much in the original show. I really like how they use him here. He's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very freely using his ability to teleport and just doing it like all over the place.
Yeah, he's very friendly. He's basically Gambit and Rogue's tour guide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have nothing against him, but he's overshadowed by Glob every time he's on screen.
Oh yeah, because
sorry.
like Glob is in the background of like all of these. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm like, Kurt, move aside. Glob's over there.
like Glob's here,
Go
bro.
talk to him. And, you know, as they're being shown around and shown how good this place is, Gambit is still not entirely sure about the place, you know, especially because Magneto is here. But this kind of gets overshadowed a bit as Nightcrawler, being the wonderful priest that he is, definitely senses the tension between Gambit and Rogue's relationship.
Also, I wanna call out this little like dance scene that's happening as well with like Exodus and like Dazzler here. Like I don't know, these cameos. It feels so cheap to me, but I loved it. Like I think Boom Boom's here.
Yes, when Exodus showed up, I was like, oh, this is definitely a Krakoa pull. 100%. And then I'm glad, I was able to recognize Dazzler. It was just the symbol on her jacket. And I was like, oh, I know who that is. Apparently, she is the focus of the tie-in comic book that came out for this show. I have not read it, but apparently it does follow her and a little bit what she's doing.
Oh, I read the first issue of that, and I totally forgot to continue reading it. I might finish it by the time we do the second episode of this.
There's only 2 issues out at the moment.
Okay. Well, that makes it easier.
Yeah, I think the show is actually going to conclude before the comic does.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll check back in with that later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Nightcrawler is encouraging, Gambit to, just marry Rogue already, but Gambit seems kind of hesitant, and Nightcrawler is not quite aware of the scope of the issue between that relationship.
Yeah, helpful words, but you don't know everything, buddy.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Scott is bombing an interview.
I think that's putting it nicely after he walks off and threatens all of humanity.
Yeah. But before that, we do get a bit of Wolverine and Jean as they both... You get this neat little scene of Jean and Cyclops telling the story of when they first kind of knew they were in love with each other. And both of their stories are the same story told from different perspectives. It's a nice moment.
Yeah, it's very sweet.
Yeah. Jean kisses Wolverine, and Wolverine says, "Don't worry about it. It was a mistake," and walks away.
Yeah, Jean is still trying to sort out her own memories since getting them back from Madeline, and she's having a pretty difficult time. But she does remember what she saw in Wolverine's mind, as she was pulled out of it with him. So a bunch of confusing things going on.
Yeah. But yeah, so Cyclops gets pressed a little bit when they start bringing up his son, and it's a little bit of an awkward moment for him, and the interviewer here kind of points out that, like, why are you lying? We're trying to hear you out and you're lying to us. And Scott just goes on a speech about how they are lucky the X-Men aren't like them.
Yeah.
God, he's trying to deny he had a son, and the reporter's like, bro, we have the receipts right here.
Yeah, like here's
the baby pictures, man.
Yeah.
The doctor, we have a doctor saying you attacked him. Like,
yeah. And then Scott turns around and is like, I will murder every single one of you. It's like, whoa, buddy. We're just asking about your son.
It's, you are lucky I am not murdering every single one of you.
Scott, that's not no.
Yeah. But, we get to see the rest of the council here. It's our boy, Sebastian.
I was so mad when he showed up. I'm like, no, you're gonna ruin it.
Of course he's here.
I mean, I know, of course he's here.
Yeah.
Okay. The council... So, go ahead, Tim. You can explain the council. I'm gonna seethe about Shaw over here.
Yeah, so we got Sebastian Shaw, we got Emma Frost, Banshee's here, Callisto got invited, good for her, and we got Moira.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just hang around.
Yeah, who I don't think is a mutant, but yeah, so it's Magneto kind of calls them like a group of I forgot exactly what he says, but he says like, oh, like you want me to lead, and like this is a group of like a bunch of like, power hungry people who are very good at like doing this power thing, and I'm like, I don't know if they all are. 2 of them are, but like I don't know if that's Banshee.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't think Callisto's like that.
No.
But
yeah, it's a cool little council. I'm very unshocked to see Sebastian here too. Like, of course.
Yeah, but other than Sebastian and Emma. This really is like the B team.
Hey, you got
Yeah.
Madeline Pryor.
This is who they found just wandering around and pulled into this room.
Hey, look, this is all they had with the cartoon's history. This is the best they got. They could not get Apocalypse.
No, we can't have Apocalypse here. You had Exodus like down there on the island. I mean, like he's still probably B team, but like,
He's still, I mean, I would say he's C team. And even then, you
Yeah.
know, I don't even think he's been in the show before. Has he?
yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's our council. I kind of like him.
I think it's a fun council. It's just everything about this. I'm like, ooh, it's Krakoa. Ooh,
Yeah,
it's so fun.
yeah,
But the reason they have called Magneto here is because they need a face for Genosha, especially if Genosha is going to be in the UN. And now that Magneto leads the X-Men and has Charles's blessing, he's the best one to do it, even if it is a puppet king.
yeah. And he agrees, but wants one condition, and he wants Rogue to be his queen. And this is an invited thing, to be fair. This is something Rogue is like absolutely free to turn down.
Yes, but also like, my boy, calm down.
Yeah, he's really moving in.
Oh, this isn't
Like-
even moving in. This man is sprinting.
Yeah.
He is right there. He's like, I want you back so bad.
Can you say no to those shoulders? I couldn't.
I can and I will. I do it every day. But Rogue isn't too pleased with this. She's obviously flattered. But, you know, she and Gambit are a thing. She needs time to think about it.
Yeah. And yeah, but they kind of mention a little bit of it here. And Rogue kind of goes into it a little bit as well. One of the reasons that they kind of click so much is Magneto's power actually does allow him to touch her.
Yeah, which I actually thought was very interesting. It obviously explains why they are still attracted to one another despite this. Soul, I know you said you knew about their relationship a bit more in the 90s. Do you know if this has always been a thing that they could do, or is this new?
No, that was how their relationship was in the comics as well.
Gotcha.
Something, I don't know how his magnetic powers do that, but something.
Comics Magneto had some wild powers with his magnetism, to be fair.
Yeah, so him being able to do that tracks.
But yeah, we get a scene of Cyclops talking to Jean Grey in a mindscape as she's telling him to describe Nathan. But then, just kind of midway through the scene, we figure out this is not Jean.
This is Madeline.
This is Madeline, because the real Jean makes it into the mindscape as well, and she's pissed.
What do you mean you're talking to my clone and have been for a month?
Ugh,
Yeah,
this
especially
whole-
because this is apparently like their moment. Oh, and they kiss too. So
Yeah.
like this is very much like, if it's not cheating, he's absolutely emotionally cheating.
Yeah.
Come on, Scott.
But
Scott,
Come
on.
Also, Madeline mid council meeting as she's doing this.
yeah, her ability to
It's
multitask is
like-
really funny.
Yeah,
I just love the smirk from Emma. Like I'm just,
Yeah.
So
like,
good, she knows.
It's so good. She's like, you know exactly what she's doing.
it's like mind drift.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Uh,
but
I
yeah, this
did have a friend point this out, and I'm like, you know what? You're kind of right. Jean is very hypocritical in this moment, considering earlier this episode she just kissed Wolverine.
Yeah.
So her
Yeah,
getting
it's-
mad at Scott is like,
Everyone's
Yeah,
feelings
and-
are messy this episode.
Oh yeah, no, it's very messy, and like you kind of see this in their confrontation too, where Scott's like initially apologetic, but then like again like kind of turns it around, like I don't think you know who you are or what you want,
Scott.
and it's very messy, and this is kind of why I also kind of pointed out like I don't know if this had happened in a if like the original episode 3 had happened in a way where they immediately didn't have Sinister mind controlling Madeline and Madeline choose to leave. I don't know if Scott ends up with Jean or Madeline there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
because
that's fair.
yeah, like he very clearly does have feelings for Madeline, regardless of who she is. And yeah, there's absolutely like there's a lot of drama here.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is quickly cut short as Jean gets some kind of psychic attack, and we cut back to Genosha with Gambit in a suit.
Yo, Gambit's looking fantastic in that suit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good look.
But this is where Rogue comes to him and explains her history with Magneto, and also to us, the audience. She essentially explains that her mother was teaching her to be a villain, and she knew one of the best villains around in order to learn from, and that happened to be Magneto. And
yeah, sitting on a throne in the Savage Land.
Absolutely majestic. And, you know, the two of them very quickly figure out that Rogue can touch him and not steal his vitality or his powers. And they grow very close to that. Not only, you know, does Rogue also look up to him because he's a very confident and charismatic person. He very much believes in the mutant cause. He has a dream of a mutant future with, you know, their own culture and art and place to be and nation. Very reminiscent of the dream of Krakoa, just this time coming from Magneto.
Yeah. It's a pretty effective flashback here.
Yeah, I
bit
agree.
Of exposition.
And she, you kind of also get this thing about Rogue talking about how that sense of touch, like, is very important to her.
Yeah.
And again, like, Gambit seems hurt by it as well, but Gambit handles this pretty maturely, like, at the end of it, where he just kind of accepts her feelings and say, like, okay, that's fine, we will always be friends.
Yeah, I'm not to say I am indifferent about Gambit, but he was never one of my top X-Men characters. And coming away from that moment in particular, before everything else in this episode happens, it definitely pushed him up for me. You know, I didn't expect him to go off the handle and get upset at her, but the way he handled it by just saying, you know, I put aside my, you know, availability for you, and I really thought we had something here, but if this makes you happy, I will accept it. And I was like, that's great, actually. I really like that.
Yeah, like, he's hurt still. He's not happy about it, but if he's not going to, like, just completely cut her off from it either.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's not a nice moment, but it's a mature moment for him. Yeah, and we're getting a little ball scene here, where everybody's dancing, having fun.
Mm-hmm. A nice party amongst friends and this UN lady here.
Yeah, Madeline and Gambit are kind of having a conversation here, and yeah, we get a dance sequence between Magneto and Rogue.
Very close to one another. And they do end up finishing the dance by kissing. So you can kind of guess how this is going to go, whether she is going to say yes or no. Until afterwards, she tells Magneto, "Thank you, but I decline."
Yeah, and just to talk about it a little bit more, this dance sequence is very, very good. I like the song. I like the animation. Like, it's great stuff. But yeah, she refuses, and it seems like she has chosen Gambit here.
Yeah, which is very surprising to Magneto. But before we can really see the resolution of that, Madeline has kind of walked out onto the deck just to get some air, and suddenly hears Cable.
This is after both she and Jean have gotten some sort of, like, psychic shocks.
Yeah. And, like, Madeline is, like, bleeding from this.
Yes.
But yeah, she goes out to the fireworks show, and Cable just runs out trying to, like, say, like, get everybody out. He runs into Madeline and tries to explain it, but realizes he's time traveling. And Madeline very quickly realizes who this is.
Yeah, she looks into his eyes and is like, I know those eyes. And she I think the only things she says is like, "I'm so happy you made it."
Yeah.
You know,
and
it doesn't. She doesn't even need to say his name. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he vanishes with the final line of "I am so sorry, Mom." And Madeline questions this as sorry for what as a green light envelops
Ugh.
everybody in like an explosion.
Before we move on, I just wanted to mention this bit where Cable is running and telling everyone to turn the music down. This is where you can really see the Pulse Club influence.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, this entire sequence, especially the one we're going to be talking about, but him, trying to get everyone to be like, stop, we need to get out of here. We need to get people safe. And he just isn't able to do it. And then suddenly all of these people, their stories cut off. They're done. There's no more after this. Because as Tim said, there is a massive green light. And the next thing we cut to is the sky is red. There's rubble everywhere, and the Genosha is on fire. We have gone from a party to hell on earth.
Yeah, like there's rubble everywhere. People are running. Like
Mhm.
things have gotten very bad very quickly.
Yeah. As Rogue is
It's-
waking up, we get these flashes of, again, footsteps of people running, just their profiles in weird angles, and it communicates the chaos of the moment so well.
Yeah. And like again, like there's just like it's this very sudden outburst of violence, and one of the first things we see is we catch it's Banshee flying away with another mutant Morrow
Yeah.
before they're just enveloped by one of the laser blast, and like they're dead. Like
It's brutal.
Yeah.
yeah.
And, so something I was kind of trying to look into for this episode, as we were going to talk about it, I couldn't find a list, and, I haven't watched the episodes. I don't fully know who's dead or not, because when it comes to cartoons, you gotta wait for the body. But, oh boy, it looks like a lot of people are just dying left and right.
Yep.
Yeah. Like almost immediately after this, it's Nightcrawler shows up and teleports them away. He does not appear dead, but he is very,
Beat
very
up,
hurt
yeah.
from this.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we're getting kind of a look at the bodies here. It looks like Sebastian's dead. Callisto's dead.
Yeah, most of the council is dead. We do get a bit of a shot of this creature that is firing these beams, and it is a 3-headed monster sentinel that is taller than most
Yeah.
of the skyscrapers in the city.
And just it's deploying other sentinels as this is happening. You have kind of like Val moving people to get out as people just get like vaporized around her.
Yep.
And that's the interesting thing too, and why I think like I find her kind of an interesting character in this sequence is it's just showing like she is also in this just from being on this island as this is happening.
Yeah, she ends up getting caught in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't talk about my theory. Sorry. Forgot about that.
Oh, okay. What,
Oh yes,
What is your theory here?
I'm curious.
I really think she's Mystique.
oh, okay.
There's some
That's interesting.
weird vibes, and like she reacts to Rogue showing up.
I can see it.
I can also
Yeah.
see that, absolutely.
Yeah.
She has like very subtle reactions to whenever Rogue's around. Like they like sort of zoom in on her face, and she's like reacting to it. So that's my theory. That's why I think she is Team Mutant.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm also thinking back to in the UN council trial, because she gets stuck on the platform with the judges. And when Magneto is talking about, I should, destroy you for what happened to Storm, they cut to her and she doesn't look scared. She looks more, guilty almost. And
Yeah.
that's kind of an interesting turn for someone who should just be human.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
I buy
that's
this
interesting.
theory 100%.
Yeah. I'm Team Mystique.
Okay. All right. We'll see if it
All right.
pans out.
Yeah. I like it. I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
No. You go for it first.
Oh, mine was a totally different thing. I wanted to mention how creepy this Sentinel monster is. It's got this weird bug body. Like, like a weird beetle almost,
Mhm.
like a beetle abdomen.
Yeah, and it's got insect legs that's helping
It's
it
really
crawl.
unsettling. Like the design is robotic, but still very reminiscent of like bugs. That it is unsettling.
Yeah, and I love the way it is animated because with its 3 heads, it kind of
Yeah.
cycles on it on like a swivel, but it does so in this very robotic locking on method. Like it sees someone, cycles ahead, and then just fires. It's just very precise in the level of murder it is achieving.
Yeah, like this thing is terrifying.
Yeah. And, you know, as we see more mutants just straight up get disintegrated by this thing, Magneto flies into action and begins to give orders. He wants Rogue and Gambit to go save the Morlocks, which are underneath this creature, while he holds it off. And essentially, he's going to be using a bunch of his powers to hurl massive metal objects at it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gambit has found a motorcycle and does some sick moves with it.
As you do.
Yeah.
Yep, cuts down normal-sized Sentinels like they're nothing, as Rogue kind of gets sidetracked a little bit by a Sentinel, but quickly tears it apart as well.
Yeah. And really can't understate the quality of animation going on, like from this moment to the end of the episode.
Yeah, like we've brought this up so many times in this episode already, but it's the show is gorgeous. Like I don't know, I'm watching this sequence again, and there's a part where Magneto is slammed into Charles's statue as it crumbles, and it's great moment, and like you get like this flashback as well as he's kind of like looking at the statue of like the fallen Charles, and you see him just kind of flash to like it seems like his time in like a concentration camp, and
Yes.
like it's great stuff. Like he's just seeing this as like this is like what they've been doing to me my entire life.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
finally, mutants had a place where they were happy, and it is happening again.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
when he kind of references his past during the Holocaust in the UN trial, I was like, okay, interesting. But then when this sequence happened and they just cut to the outfits that they made Jewish prisoners of the Holocaust wear, I'm like, oh, they're going for it. They are
Yeah.
just 100% going in on this allegory here. And they do it really well. You know, because right after this, Magneto is going to use everything he has to destroy this monster and stop it from doing it again.
oh yeah, he hurls a monorail at it and like uses it as like a whip. And yeah, then you kind of get this scene of the Morlocks just talking about it in general and about how Leech is very confident Magneto's going to save him after that happened in the first episode.
I want to say specifically, because this is going to be very important very soon, when Magneto saved Leech from the Friends of Humanity, he told Leech, "You will never have to be afraid again." And
Yeah.
Leech 100% believes this. Even in the midst of this monster, he's like, "We'll be okay. Magneto said we would."
It's
Yeah.
such a heartfelt moment.
Yeah.
I think the voice actor does a really great job in conveying Leech's admiration for Magneto and how much he trusts him, and I think it really gets to me.
You
Yeah.
don't want to be the one to let Leech down.
No.
No.
There's
Yeah.
an innocence there with Leech that just is very potent.
Yeah. Gambit gets the Morlocks away as they run outside right as Magneto is slammed into a car. The Leech and the rest of the Morlocks kind of gather around Magneto as Leech embraces Magneto, and Magneto puts up a magnetic shield right as they are enveloped in one of the Sentinel Blast.
Yeah. And this blast does not let up. it just continues to go. And Rogue wants to go fly and help Magneto, but both Gambit and Magneto know this would just kill Rogue. So Magneto uses some of his powers, pushes Rogue back, and so this entire time, nothing in the show has gotten me to cry. And this sequence here, where Rogue is pushed off to the side and you cut to Leech looking up to Magneto as his force field is starting to fade, and then Magneto speaks to him in German, I almost started crying. I'm like, oh no, they're doing it.
Yeah. And then just like, there's a complete, just absolute coldness to the Sentinel just immediately turning around, saying Omega threat eliminated and walking away.
Yeah. It's
Ugh.
hard to put in the words. It's extremely effective.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really, really good.
And I really thought the episode was just going to end there. So I was like already so emotional. And I'm like, okay, we're still going.
Yeah, no, we're still going. Rogue is furious. She flies out of this, going straight for the Sentinel, and before she can get closer to it and probably shot out of the sky, Gambit gets back on his motorcycle, charges it up, and sends it flying at Rogue to knock her out. And he decides he's going to go up and try and defeat the Sentinel. He has this wonderful sequence where he gets really close and it really looks like the big hero moment and he is going to win. And then the Sentinel shoots out a piece of metal and just catches him right in the side.
Yeah, he's impaled here.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. You know, I was not expecting Magneto to die, and I'm assuming he is dead at this moment. Maybe he's not, I don't know. But when it caught Gambit, I'm like, oh, we're just gonna keep killing people.
Yeah, like this entire sequence, I was just like audibly gasping over and over and over again.
Yeah, the closest thing I could ever relate this to is if you've ever watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, at the end of season 2 is the Day of Black Sun, where Aang is in his avatar state and gets wounded during that moment. That same level of disbelief and desperation and just rapt attention that the show is able to create is 100% right here. Just, you could not look away from this episode even if you wanted to.
Yeah. Gambit in his final moments as the Sentinel says we've neutralized the threat, he uses his power to turn the piece impaling him and in extension the entire Sentinel into a bomb and blows him up. And we then cut to the rest of the X-Men in the mansion seeing this on TV. And they're just looking at Genosha, I'm so sorry, as like a smoldering just wreck of a island at this point. It's on fire. Everyone's horrified. Cyclops is asking how many have died. And then we cut back to Genosha where Rogue is holding Gambit in a crater and actually touching him for the first time, saying that she cannot feel him. And that's when our episode ends.
It's so effective. It is.
They just went for it.
They went for it and did not hold back. Like, I was once Magneto died, I was like, okay, I don't know what's happening, but let's keep going. And then Gambit dies, and then they cut to the X-Men in the mansion. And for some reason, I was kind of okay, and then for some reason, the way Beast says, like, oh my, just the way he says it with, like, just shock and desperation, that's what broke me and had me start crying. It's just, like, he cannot handle what he's watching on TV. And, you know, as the, you know, Bo DeMaio was talking about, this is something, you know, people my age, older and younger, have experienced a lot growing up. I was too young for 9/11, but I definitely watched, coverage of shootings and, terror attacks and all these other things on TV. So to have the X-Men now have that same experience, it's like, oh, I know exactly what they're feeling.
Yeah, like there's this like very real grief and like anger that's displayed here that's very, very familiar as like just seeing a lot of these like on the news.
Yeah.
Of like just things like this, of just like these like horrifying acts of just like absolute like terror.
Yeah. And I mean, I've had all of those different emotions from Scott, demanding to know how many people are dead, to Beast not being able to handle it. So some of the others just silently watching.
Yeah. Like it's very, very effective in how realistic it feels, like emotional wise.
I'm really glad they showed sort of both sides. Like it had us like there, while it was happening, and then it sort of pulled back, and we got to sort of see that outside perspective, where that feeling like where you're like paralyzed, like watching the news, trying to figure out what's happening, and no one quite knows what's going on. So it really showed, sort of different sides.
I think the choice of not having all of the X-Men go to the island was very smart.
Yes.
Just because it allowed for like that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. And
yeah. Two very quick notes about just bits in the episode. We didn't mention Magneto right after he was slammed against one of the huge statues, using the monorail as like a giant whip. He's controlling with his arms is extremely sick.
Yeah, I mentioned it a little bit, but yeah, like I love that moment.
It's so cool.
That and us getting confirmation that Glob is alive after all of this.
Yes.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he gets to watch the crater where Gambit is dead.
Yeah,
but he's alive.
I thought I was very, very worried about Glob, but yeah, I'm glad he's still
he's okay.
Still hanging in there.
He's fine.
And I'm very happy that Beau DeMaio did have that interview with Deadline about the 5th episode. I'm sure we all would have come to these conclusions on our own just from watching it, because the message that it's telling is very, very clear. But I'm glad he talked about, the Pulse Snipe Club shooting and how he kept that in mind, and specifically in relation to Gambit. Because having talked to friends who have watched this, and, even myself, earlier in episode 5, you get this feeling for Gambit of like, oh, he's got more story going on. He's got more things he's going to be doing in the future. And then all of a sudden, it's just done. It's gone.
His story stops.
Yeah, his story stops. Yeah. And that is very specific in why he wrote it that way. Because that's what happens. And it's heartbreaking and very coldly real in a way that is just not beautiful. I don't think that's the correct way to describe it.
But it's true to life.
It's true to life and done in a way that this can be explained to anybody, If somebody doesn't get why this violence is so horrific, you can just be like, well, here, look at this. Stories are just cut short. All because of something out of nowhere.
Yeah, just, I don't know. Everything about this episode is so just, it is very, very well made. The sudden just hard pivot into this horrific violence is so effective.
It is extremely well paced, for one. Again, the relationship stuff, both with Rogue and Gambit, and then Jean and Scott, doesn't really get in the way of the violence, nor does one seem to overshadow the other, for me at least. Obviously, the end of episode sacrifices are the big highlights, narrative-wise, but everything's really well balanced. And it all really, really works.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right there with you. I don't know.
Highlight of the show for now. I can't imagine what a better episode of X-Men could look like, but I'm very interested in seeing if they even try to reach the heights of this episode in the next batch.
Yeah, because I don't even know how you could. I mean, I'm very curious to see where this goes after this and what they do with the story following it. I'm also very curious to see the ending arc because it is a 3-episode arc. Very curious to see how that one goes, especially after these first 5. But yeah, just fantastic. A wonderful show that I don't think many people were expecting to be this incredible.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it's actually being pretty successful. Like, people are... I mean, I don't see how after an episode like this, you wouldn't get the response that it's getting, but I'm glad that it's being recognized because it shows that it's got a lot of care put into it.
Yeah, which, just makes it even more of a bummer that Bo is no longer a part of Disney.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But all right. That's a 3 hours episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one went a lot longer than our initial guess of an hour and a half. Well, maybe we'll talk about maybe splitting this into 2. So.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. But did anyone else have any closing thoughts before I wrap up here for the evening?
No, not really. Again, if you're a first-time listener, thank you for listening. Or if you're a long-time listener as well, thank you for listening. I think this could be a pretty good introduction to our podcast. So if you want to share it around, I think it'd be good for us. Please do so.
Mm-hmm. And don't worry, we don't do 3-hour episodes at all. I wasn't even going to say often. We're usually a lot shorter than that, but we had a lot of episodes of this cartoon to go through, and it was great.
A lot to say.
Yeah. Once this season wraps of the show, I think we're gonna come back and do the final 5. That might also be 3 hours. We'll just see. But I don't know. Good stuff.
Yeah, see how it goes. But we're definitely gonna do the last 5.
Yeah.
But all right. If you have made it this far, thank you. If you could leave us a review on your podcasting app of choice, that would be great. It helps us get out there and find more people to listen along with us and either watch X-Men 97 or read some comics with us and enjoy the Krakoan era of X-Men comics. If you are looking to find this podcast on social media, you can find it at Study of X on X, also known as Twitter, Tumblr, and on Blue Sky, although Blue Sky, not as active there. I'm trying to get it more up and running, but it's taking a little bit. And if you do have any questions, comments, maybe other little fun facts that you know about X-Men 97, you can send them to us at studyofx@gmail.com, and we might just read them here the next time we finish up X-Men 97. And if you are looking for me on social media, you can find me at Sawneeks, that is SAWNEEKS, on Blue Sky. I'm not too active, but I'm there if you need me. And Sergio and Tim, I believe, are still stuck in their Motendo. They haven't gotten out yet. So if you do need to send them a message, let me see if I can get through to them. Do you know where I could send you to a message if we need to?
That was actually a couple. Look, that was actually a couple of weeks ago. We are actually currently in the stratosphere. Magneto put us up here, and we can't get down. If you could send anyone to get us, that I would really appreciate that.
Yeah, but we are playing Motendo up here.
We do have our Motendo. Yeah, that's keeping us entertained.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Hopefully that's keeping you warm too. I know it's pretty cold up there. And Soul, you don't normally get my focus for these random questions, but if folks need to find you on social media and tell you also how much they love Gambit, can they find you anywhere?
No, unfortunately not. I'm not big on social media right now. Yeah, but
I do
Also
hear
in the
they can find you in a good book.
they can find me in a good book, and really, thank you so much for having me. It was great to talk about X-Men again. It's been a while.
Check out Stray Reads. Next week, I believe we are covering X-Men number 12, X of Swords Creation, and X Factor number 4 for anybody following along with the Krakoa stuff.
Yes, and we have a lot to discuss on that one. Another very big start of a hefty event, that's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's the end of the episode.
I think that's it for now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm very tired after talking for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
Me
I
too.
Yeah.
I could go another 3 hours and 21 minutes.
Honestly, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna let you two run it. I'm gonna go take a nap.
All right.
All right, well,
All right.
until next time, everyone. Later, mutants.
Bye.
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 X-Men とは悪の脅威から人類を守り、人類とミュータントの平和的共存を実現するために組織されたミュータントヒーローチームである。